acceptable, Ryan Beard was actually compiling at least some of the details of a person that I consider to be a fairly large menace in the live streaming sphere. Okay? His name is Destiny, also known as Sex Pestiny, also known as Epstiny, the leader of the Diddy G clan. Let's take a look.
I don't wish to bring anybody any more harassment than they've already received.
I'm going to issue multiple trigger warnings for sexual abuse, harassment, and the like before we move into this. He's the one that's brainwashed my brother, not you, Lamau. Yeah.
But you have to understand, I don't wish to bring anybody any more harassment than they've already received, but you have to understand that at this point, I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand. There will be no vague allegations today. There will be no mentions of nukes, only mushroom clouds. I went with the title, Kethels, a case study on internet terrorism and mass media manipulation. This is going to be a cataloging of the past year, demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible, and what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets.
That's crazy. Isn't this verbatim what him and Dan Saltman said about unleashing like complete warfare upon Twitch for the crime of initially banning Destiny and then also not banning me, even though Twitch has banned me in the past, but simply not banning me for my coverage on Palestine. Interesting that he's using this.
It's going to be a careful documentation of lies. I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes. I'm not having secret recordings to be in my apartment. Bro, I'll talk about anything all the time ever. Are we serious?
So then the question stands, did you Lauren Southern?
Scams. Every single person on the internet that is pushing NFTs is just trying to find a bigger sucker. You can basically buy and sell, or you can buy and sell like Twitch clips, and you get an NFT that you can get autographed by the streamer. And you know what? If you buy it, I can go right up here and click autograph, and I can sign whatever NFT you want me to sign. Okay? Threats.
I think one of the funniest copes from Destiny's cult was on the NFT stuff, where I think their defense of that was, well, he just thought it was like a fun, cute thing that people can buy, and it wasn't to actually make money, when originally his argument about NFTs was that if you're going to buy it to make money, then you're stupid. It's like, no, dude, he knew it was a fucking scam, and, you know, he copped the bag anyway. That's it. It's just like an insane... To me, I feel like this demonstrates... like messaging discipline. I think their Discord got an alert. You shot up 6K in 1 minute, probably. To me, this demonstrates messaging discipline, right? It demonstrates that you have designed your community in a way where you just straightforward have a cult-like attitude where no matter how obviously hypocritical your actions may be, you still have loyal soldiers and servants that will go out and push your message on these issues and are firm and committed believers in whatever you put out there. Like, they are more loyal to, I think, Destiny's ideology, whatever it is at any given moment, whatever he's presenting himself as a believer of, than he himself is, than Destiny himself is. Okay? It was troublesome for sure.
Doxing. I literally just doxed that girl. The one that tried to throw egg on me like a week or two ago. Like, I don't give a fuck about like doxing. And an utter lack of accountability.
Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
girl were shared by Destiny without her
Nice,
consent.
good one, nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
And I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you, Wick. Ready?
Okay.
Over the years, I've worried about the types of tactics endorsed by progressive communities. The uncomfortable distorting of narratives. Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. It sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like that's about where I'm at. The grotesque shape-shifting of facts. Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. The general inability to hold themselves to a decent standard of behavioral conduct. The rioting needs to stop. And if that means like white redneck militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my blessing, because holy shit. It is the tale of an internet bully given far too much power.
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
On a mission to seek fame and fortune.
So what's that look like revenue-wise? I think last time you said it was like 50K a month.
It's probably a little bit higher than that now. Yeah.
By building a career through vicious conflict.
Actually kill yourself. Yes, kill yourself.
We've allowed ourselves to gaze into the abyss for far too long.
Destiny
is the result.
On January 8th, 2025, the streamer Destiny's ex-wife Melina accused him of sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent to a 19-year-old young woman over Discord.
Something I can't, like I'm not gonna go into detail of anything, but there's plenty of people that's wondering this, but I feel like this should be obvious. Nothing has happened with consent with anyone, not me and not anyone else. Like there's been no consent.
On January 21st, 2025, one of Destiny's close friends named Pixie accused him of also sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent. Destiny later revealed that this 19-year-old he had sent these pornographic videos to had allegedly been hacked, leading to these videos being leaked on the internet.
I think a friend of mine's account from that I talked to like 3 or 4 years ago ended up getting compromised, and you know, sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay.
Later on that same day of January 21st, one of Destiny's previous close friends named Cherry not only accused Destiny of sharing a recording of them having sex without her consent, but also of recording her without her knowledge. Destiny has since admitted to sharing these sex tapes of Pixie and Melina without their consent. Cherry's allegation is still just an allegation, but she has recently filed a police report against Destiny. This is the story of Stephen Bennell II, a man given far too much power and the ways he has abused this power for his own personal gain. Hi, so this video has been a long...
How is this community still existing in any form after this much? Because it's a community that thrives on conflict. You know? What? Wow, dude, sinking low here. Probably won't respond. This isn't worth stream time. Just send to the feds. Okay.
Long time coming. I've been slowly...
Anyway, there's a couple different reasons. There's a couple different reasons for why. One, there's not really coherent legislation on a lot of the things that happen online, whether it be cyberbullying, cyber stalking, or even sex crimes that happen online, right? Legislation is just simply not caught up. Okay? There are that's one of the major reasons. Another is that if you're asking like why his community is not falling apart over this, I think there are a lot of people who are understandably shaken from this, because it's not like every single person is like super invested in the cult, right? So for many of them, if they had just like encountered Destiny because they saw TikTok clips or something along those lines, they probably hear about this and they go, "Oh, what the fuck? I had no idea this dude was doing this weird shit," and they're out, right? There's other people who are like, "Oh, well, I was just barely scratching the surface of his commentary, and I was actually a fan, but I realized that this is like, horrific behavior." But there's still a very sizable chunk of people who just don't care. They're in it for the conflict in and of itself, and it's not necessarily about ideology. No matter how hard his community presents him as a fantastic orator of liberal values, right? Something that's like very commonly shared in terms of like the the most invested within the cult is like, I don't watch him for his personal morals. I watch him because he makes great content, or I watch him because he's a great spokesperson for liberal values, not recognizing the hollowed out nature of your own moral system when you say this person is a fantastic orator of liberalism, right? That's it. For many people, I think they just enjoy the blood sport of it, and they enjoy the community cyber stalking aspect of it. I think that's primarily the reason for why so many fans are like, no, I don't give a shit, and I like this, and let's see how he will get himself out of this bind. You know, that's usually the attitude that people have, I think. While Destiny is not the most knowledgeable, not the most well-versed on many issues that he speaks on, he does have an endless amount of confidence and carries himself with an incredible amount of confidence. And he is a very skilled orator, okay? He can basically get himself out of a bind by applying a lot of logical fallacies and rhetorical tricks in a way that I think a lot of swagged out white boys respond positively to, especially if they are relatively agoraphobic and don't have a lot going on. It's 4chan culture. Some people just like that edgy humor. That's what they want. That's what they demand. And that's what Destiny gives them. But for a lot of those people, they don't really give a shit if he's, you know, doing a lot of horrifying things in his personal life.
Collecting evidence about this man Destiny here for about 3 years now, and I don't know about you, but I think it's finally time to take this motherfucker down. Destiny is widely hated by a variety of communities across the internet for a variety of reasons. But no matter how hated Destiny became, he always had a strong army of sycophants that would defend him no matter what he did. However, recently, almost all of his orbiters have abandoned him. Orbiters are what he calls his friends who stream with him. Basically, the implication is that Destiny is this massive planet, and all of his friends are these little planets that orbit around him.
I think it's pretty crazy and obviously very narcissistic, but it's particularly crazy that the orbiters themselves also call themselves orbiters. I remember... What? Oh. That's what's so wild about it, where it's like the genuflection. Like you're stating that your position is lower than this person. I don't know.
This has created an ecosystem where most of Destiny's friends rely on Destiny's success for fame and money. And because most of these people rely on Destiny for money, they've done a remarkably good job at sweeping allegations against Destiny under the rug.
Central Committee, the Greeks had a term for people like D, a sophist. My favorite clip was a debate we had where he didn't know that rich people borrowed money against their stocks and assets. There's a TikTok of it, and it really exposed him for the dumbass he is. I agree. By the way, that is unironically one of the, I think, perfect demonstrations of Destiny being confidently wrong and still maintaining this same posture that he is like absolutely in the right, when in fact he is just completely wrong. And he's not only completely wrong, but he's being a fucking douchebag about it. And he's doing it in a way where, like, his audience obviously is unfamiliar with the subject matter, so they probably respond to Destiny's confidence. They respond positively to his confidence. There have been numerous instances where, you know, Destiny has actually gotten a ship pushed in by people who are more intelligent or at least more knowledgeable, and yet he's still, as long as he still maintains this veneer of authority, this veneer of confidence, then plenty of his core fan base still think he's brilliant. He was watching the Nuke and refused to read the articles that you had mentioned and lied over and over, Ben, about your political beliefs and motivations. He's a creep. Yeah.
For years. However, these recent allegations against Destiny have been so egregious that the majority of even his most loyal orbiters have decided to leave his orbit. Now, barely anyone is still defending Destiny.
I just saw myself in this fucking collage, dude. Why? Oh my God, why am I in this, bro? Like, these guys also have this, this attitude that, like, everyone that Destiny has encountered ever in his streaming experience is a part of the lore, a part of the Destiny expanded cinematic universe, whether they consent to it or not. You know? I mean, there's been a lot of people in and out of his life, lol. That's what I'm saying. But it's like wild to still act like these people are a part of the lore. Or still a part, or even to act like it's lore anyway.
To leave his orbit. Now, barely anyone is still defending Destiny. One person who is still defending Destiny is Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, who recently decided to slut-shame Destiny's victims.
Where I go, I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as proof that I slept my way to whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Prixie, but you did sleep your way to the top. You know, you gotta call a spade here.
Even though Myron is an absolutely insane anti-Semitic woman hater who stands for everything that Destiny claims to be against, Destiny says that he has more respect for Myron than for anyone else on the internet.
In all of my years, God, this feels so shitty. In all my years doing content, I have more respect for Myron than any other individual.
Apparently, the amount of respect that Destiny has for you as a person is dependent on how willing you are to suck up to him.
He is the only person that I have seen that will consistently go into areas where there's so much like laughing and jokes and fun times to be had right here if he was shit on me, but he doesn't. He won't do it.
I have some level of empathy for Destiny's orbiters because it is difficult to be stuck in a position where you financially rely on someone who is not a great person. But I have basically no empathy for Destiny because I believe that Destiny is a massive piece of shit, and I will hopefully demonstrate why I feel that way in this video. In this video, I will go through nearly every harmful action that Destiny has committed over the years, and then allow you to come to your own conclusions on whether or not you think this is a person who deserves anyone's admiration or respect. Before we jump into Destiny's actions from across the years, I think I should take a little bit of time to dispel some possible well poisoning that Destiny or his community DGG could try to attack me with. The first accusation they might throw at me is that I'm obsessed with Destiny. This is an accusation they like to throw at anyone who criticizes Destiny. Personally, I don't think it makes me obsessed with Destiny that I've been
I think it's pretty funny to also claim obsession when they run an active cyber stalking operation on virtually every single person that, myself included, that Destiny has ever encountered and has felt wronged by. Okay? So the idea that, like, it is actually the victims of the cyber stalking operations that are obsessed with him is so ridiculous, because especially considering this dynamic, for approximately 4 or 5 years over the course of the past 6 years, I rarely ever talked about Sex Destiny. And the only time that I decided to change that was when he chose to defend Israel unconditionally and came out of the gate swinging by claiming that he was pro-genocide, as shown in the early stages of this video. So it is wild that he has spent, yeah, as Mike correctly points out, they watch every collab you and I engage in. They watch every stream. If they find a clip they can take out of context or frame it, they can screenshot where you look bad. They will try and make it go viral. It's actually hilarious how little success they've had. I wouldn't say necessarily that they've had little success. In terms of my career, of course, it's a rather difficult thing to tackle, okay, in its entirety. But if there's ever a person that you encounter in the wild that isn't actually familiar with my commentary whatsoever, but has a negative association with me, it's most likely a consequence of the obviously very dedicated smear operation that they have engaged in for the past 5 fucking years. So there is some level of, there's some degree of success on that. Although, of course, it's not that successful. But yeah, they do this to every single person that they feel has wronged Destiny, including, but not limited to, someone like Ludwig, where they made a 20-minute long documentary about all the times Destiny was cool, because Ludwig, in a single tweet, said that Destiny had bad vibes. And when they failed in convincing him, they shit on him for being friends with me, and they still fucking attack him all the time. Like, for example, I'll give you an example, okay? They'll just start off with like an insane suspicion that normally would be relegated to someone who is hysterical, schizophrenic even. Hasan makes boss calls to Ludwig and actually dominates the entire streaming industry. Okay, this is a real conspiracy that they believe in, where Ludwig will make decisions entirely on his own, okay, unbeknownst to me. And these guys will turn around and go, oh, he did this because of Hasan. And they will continue along with that narrative, and they will spread it far and wide. So randomly, underneath any fucking like thirst talk or any kind of like new person being like, oh, I just started watching this Hasan guy, I really like him, you'll see a number of different insane conspiracies dedicated to me, including but not limited to the thing that I was mentioning. Hasan actually got really upset and offended at Ludwig, and he made a call to make Ludwig delete a part of his video or delete his video in its entirety. I don't even fucking remember. They literally have spreadsheets. They have dedicated websites to compiling all of this false information, and they have spreadsheets with clips that are clipped out of context to run the gamut whenever there is an opportunity. Okay? There was a period of time where if you wanted to gain any following as a positive streamer, you had to go on a weekly debate panel full of deorbiters. It was a space devoid of deodorant and God. Yeah, that sounds devastating. Yeah. Members of his community have also doctored images from this chat, created websites with doctored images from this chat. I mean, as recently as a month or so ago, his community literally compiled every single chat message in this, on every single chat message in this chat, and claimed that like the moderators were not doing a good job, and myself were not doing a good job banning people for anti-Semitism. And they thought that they could take it all the way up to Tom Cotton to the Senate to do a congressional hearing on a public Twitch stream. Okay? A public Twitch stream and its moderation practices. Like how unimaginably invested are you in Twitch streaming that you think normal politicians are going to fucking get around? Like they're going to talk about like the moderation of one particular community where anyone can talk at any given moment, and there's 30,000 different voices that are chiming in here from all different backgrounds. Not every single person is a fan of mine, for example. Like that is delusion, pure and utter delusion. In the grand scheme of things, I am a nobody, okay? I'm nothing. The idea that I have this awesome amount of power is something that a lot of these people have inflated in their own heads. This is their own personal estimation, and I think they're wrong. I actually used to be the head mod for the channel that Rando's Hippy Dippy. I left when he started having Dion a lot, but anytime D was in chat, it became nearly impossible to moderate and extremely toxic. Yeah.
him for the purpose of criticizing him. None of Destiny's fans accused me of being obsessed with Sneeko when I did a deep dive into Sneeko's harmful actions because they don't like Sneeko. But they probably will accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny because Destiny is their daddy. This is the first video I've ever made about Destiny, and it'll probably be about an hour and a half long. Compare that to the probably hundreds of hours that Destiny has spent on his stream criticizing Hasan. And I have nothing against Destiny criticizing Hasan. It would just be pretty hypocritical to accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny for making 1 hour and a half long video about him, while Destiny has talked about Hasan for hundreds of hours. Destiny has written multiple incredibly long manifestos.
That's the other thing that, like, I just truly don't understand. It's the easiest thing to show. I have like what, 4 or 5 total videos with about Destiny in the past 6 years. Or not 6 years. I used to collaborate, as you guys know, with Destiny. But, you know, since I cut ties, I think a total of 6 videos in the last year, in the last 2 years. Okay, maximum. He has made 6 probably, you know, in a week. I don't understand how this is in any way, shape, or form not an, you know, it's not ringing any alarm bells for all these people that are in this cult. But yeah, as someone that I read the comments from that was like a former Destiny community member, he has so thoroughly poisoned the well for someone like myself that there is no world in which his community, even if they hate him now, will ever turn around and go, maybe I was a little deluded about the way I feel about this random fucking dude. Does that make sense?
Criticizing creators like Vosh, Keffels, and Bob7, who Destiny believes have wronged him over the years. Although I find the label of manifesto a bit cringe, I see nothing inherently wrong with Destiny writing manifestos to chronicle the bad behaviors of these creators. So, in the same way, I guess this will be my manifesto against Destiny. And if you have an issue with me making this manifesto, I hope you will stay logically consistent and also criticize Destiny for making manifestos about Vosh, Keffels, and Bob7. If I had to predict how Destiny himself would respond to this video, he would probably respond with something similar to this tweet that he tweeted at me a couple years ago. You're hopping into a bandwagon of people accusing me of being a rape apologist because you're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. Don't play stupid. You know exactly what you're doing. To be honest, Destiny isn't 100% wrong here. I am jumping onto a bandwagon of people criticizing him, but I don't think that's an inherently bad thing to do. Destiny jumps onto bandwagons of people criticizing Hasan all the time. When Ethan Klein makes videos attacking Hasan, Destiny jumps onto the bandwagon. So when a bunch of people on the internet are criticizing Destiny right now for sharing women's sex tapes without their consent, hell yeah, I'm gonna jump.
I do feel like this is very devoid of any sort of real politics as well. Like Ethan criticizing Hasan and Destiny jumping on the bandwagon is kind of wild because, you know, what was Ethan criticizing me over? It's wild. He's doing it right now? What do you mean?
Jump onto the bandwagon and roast the shit out of him. With the way the internet works, criticisms against someone are more likely to stick when that person is actively engaged in a controversy. This is just how the internet is. So yes, I waited to make this video until you were in a possibly career-ending controversy because I knew that this would make more people listen to my criticism against you. Do you have a problem with that? You know how the internet works, Destiny.
Anybody who hates you, even if he doesn't like them, he will ride off into the sun. He will ride them into the sunset. I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, he literally did that with Sam Hyde, Nick Fuentes, numerous far-right figures. It's not like a secret. He then also lied actively about not knowing that Sam Hyde was a neo-Nazi. And then we found out that he had actually a couple months prior talked about how, you know, Sam Hyde definitely was a neo-Nazi, including the reasons as to why he thought he was a neo-Nazi. But of course, when the opportunity presented itself for him to collaborate with Sam Hyde, platform him, elevate him, and talk about how funny he is as a comedian or whatever. He forgot, I guess.
Jump onto bandwagons of criticizing people who are in controversies all the time. But now that the shoe's on the other foot, you're mad about it.
All the other shit from all the other vultures and all the other communities that are like coming in trying to like make drama out of this, that don't give a fuck about any victims or any people involved, which is the majority of people.
That's crazy. It's pure projection, I think. Yeah, everyone is just trying to make drama out of this and don't care about the victims at all. And also, that's literally what Destiny has done his entire career. That's how he built an audience that's so unimaginably toxic.
Don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't care about that.
Another accusation that Destiny's fans like to throw at people who criticize him is that they're just doing it for money. Oh, you mean like how Destiny has made money from covering other people's controversies for years? What a dog shit argument. Yes, I'm gonna make money from this video because this is my job, just like Destiny makes money from criticizing other people because that's his job. But this video isn't just about making money for me. I genuinely care about raising awareness for the shitty stuff that Destiny has done. If you're gonna write a manifesto about Keffals and say that she needs to be held responsible for her actions,
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
I'm gonna do the same thing to you, motherfucker. Now let's focus in on this part of the tweet. You're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. You know what, Destiny? You are not totally wrong. Being bullied off the internet didn't feel particularly good because people don't tend to enjoy being bullied. Destiny and his community definitely have bullied me over the years, but I don't really care to relitigate my personal beef with Destiny. Destiny and his community weren't very nice to the suit-wearing fatty. Who gives a fuck? But Destiny, you don't get to criticize Keffals for being a bully,
Internet bullying.
and then turn around and take pride in the fact that you're a bully. That is called hypocrisy. The fact that Destiny and his community have bullied me in the past probably is a factor in why I chose to make this video. And I would argue that the treatment that Destiny received from creators like Vosh and Keffals is one of the reasons he made manifestos against them. As much as I might want to, I am a human being and I can't fully separate myself from my own personal biases. And the fact that I have been bullied by Destiny and his community in the past does probably make me somewhat biased against them. If you feel like my personal bias against Destiny means that I'm not the right person to make this video, I respect that opinion and I encourage you to go watch a different YouTube video. But in this video, I'm going to try my absolute best to be as unbiased as possible and stick to the facts as much as possible. I am going to try my best to not view Destiny in bad faith, because I think even if you view him in good faith, he's still a piece of shit. I do feel like one of Destiny's tactics from across the years is to be incredibly mean to anyone he has a conflict with. So when that person eventually decides to make a video criticizing him, he can just write that person off as obsessive and just mad because he bullied them.
As a supporter of yours, I'd appreciate if you address some of the points made in the Britney video. She seemed to be pretty fair, especially in her conclusions. I don't have time to address every deranged, obsessive video that's made about me. I still haven't watched the Britney video.
Yeah. It's weird because he's done like 1,000 of these about me. And back in the day, every single time a new one would come out, his community would storm mine to just be like, dude, why are you avoiding these like obvious criticisms that you must address immediately? You know? I don't really understand it. Especially when this person was directly involved with Sex Pastini. Like directly, they were friends. And he was directly wronged, as far as I understand. In terms of Ethan, because you can make a similar argument on that front. I have already addressed every single criticism that has been launched in my direction, both from Ethan, who basically rehashed all of his manic moments from the past 6 or 7 months. But not only that, but I had already addressed them a million times over prior, because these are not unique or original claims. They were directly plagiarized from the Sex Pastini community. So, that's it.
Just add this tactic to the long list of tactics that Destiny and his community use to deflect criticism from themselves. The last criticism that Destiny and his community might make against this video is that I'm bringing up a bunch of old news that Destiny has already addressed. While that might be the case for some of the things I talk about in this video is not
Chuck Dies, thank you for the 25, get the subs.
Being made for Destiny's community. I'm making this video for the broader internet, and the majority of the broader internet doesn't know about all of these past controversies that you might consider old news. Contrary to what you guys might believe, the entire world does not orbit around Destiny. If Destiny is going to be interviewing potential presidential candidates like Marianne Williamson, then I think the broader political community deserves to know about Destiny's past actions. Destiny has said before that he has nothing to hide, and people can't
It's actually truly shocking that it has taken this long for enough people to come out and be like, this is it, I'm done. I've been wronged too severely by this person, because he is left behind a body. I mean, he is left behind a trail of corpses throughout his career. Just people that he has so consistently wronged over and over again, who he still actually will routinely take shots at when the opportunity presents itself. His community considers this burning bridges. They consider it to be content, right? And the only thing that I think has kind of kept a lot of people from coming out and being like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Is his active community of defenders who will engage in, sometimes, dare I say, sophisticated smear campaigns against everyone that has any sort of critical opinion over this man. Okay? Like an unlimited amount of harassment, DDoSing if the opportunity presents itself, mass brigading, following you everywhere you go online, making it so that you are seen as like a toxic individual, trying to separate you from your real life friends by consistently smearing people that you collaborate with. And he's been able to keep this together by actively gaslighting his audience and maintaining the presence that he's doing this for some higher liberal purpose. And some people, I think, believe it. Some people, I think, recognize that as a true thing. There have been instances of physical harassment that Frogan has withstood. There have been instances of even someone physically coming up to me in the real world as well at the DNC. If you recall, the I'm shaking moment from the dude who was in the Destiny Discord, the Diddy G person that we found out was quite racist, as a matter of fact. He came up to me while I was live streaming at the DNC and said, Destiny made you, and then ran away instantly before I could even comprehend what was going on. We later found out that he was actually fantasizing about what to say to me, and that he was openly talking about how he was shaking. Hasan is right there. I'm shaking is the thing that he said. So, you know, and Destiny rewards that kind of behavior with admiration and recognition. That is the other side of this. He retweets when those things go viral. You know? Like he likes that. I think that's a very dangerous game to play, to be fair. Because you never know what some of your most loyal fans are capable of doing. So if you play fast and loose with urging them into taking direct action in the real world, that is extremely dangerous for other content creators, and perhaps maybe even dangerous for yourself. There will be legal repercussions if they actually do something insane.
Expose him for anything that he's done in the past because he's open about everything he's done in his life. When someone else was trying to expose Destiny for his bad behavior, he sent these messages to his chat. So if he wants to expose me, that's fine, let him expose. But he needs to post receipts instead of just vaguely alluding to shit. There's literally nothing anyone could have on me for anything because I don't do anything bad/weird. I am the cleanest motherfucker in this entire scene. The worst anyone could ever have on me is fucking dick pics or something. He can talk about whatever he wants, but he should provide proof, not just baseless accusations/speculation.
That's a wild statement. I'm the cleanest motherfucker in this industry is a wild statement.
Alright, Destiny, in this video I will provide plenty of proof and receipts to back up everything that I accuse you of. If what you said in these messages is true, then you should have absolutely no issue with me lying out everything that you've done over the years on the table. Are we on the same page? Great. Honestly, I feel like the fact that I feel the need to lay out all these preambles and pretext and shoot down possible criticisms before they make them should show you that Destiny's community have become masters at deflecting.
Yeah. I'm not in a cult, says man who's clearly in a cult. It is cultish. I mean, it is a cult. I mean, down to the sex crimes. You can't have a cult without having at least some semblance of sex crimes. And now that we know, then there are receipts for that as well. It seemingly is the full thing.
Deflecting criticism against them. You can call these motherfuckers Bert from Mary Poppins in the way that they're masters at sweeping. The joke here is that Bert from Mary Poppins is a chimney sweep. It's a funny joke, okay? Fuck off. My goal in this video is not to push some sort of political agenda against Destiny. I actually think he is a very smart dude who's one of the best debaters on the internet and one of the best people at using logic to defend liberal values. I debated Destiny a couple times a few years ago and he definitely wiped the floor with me, especially in our second debate. I have no shame in admitting that. Destiny is definitely
he's the best at defending liberal values. I guess if you see it as a pejorative, that's a, like, what, liberal values, like what? Defending Israel's genocide? Like, what are we talking about? Liberal values such as defending Kyle Rittenhouse? Liberal values such as, you know, the video, the things that you showed in the beginning of the video, which are what, like, defending CP, defending sexual assault, victim blaming. None of these are liberal values. Okay? The reality of the matter is Destiny is a debate mercenary. He has no values. Okay? He oftentimes will say he's sociopathic. He'll say he's an egoist. He'll use anything and everything he can to make it seem as though he has, you know, convictions that can change when he encounters new information, but in many instances, he's just in it for the spirit of debate. A pure sophist. You are, Central Committee is correct.
a better debater than I am. Even if I disagree with a lot of his opinions because I'm a leftist, I can still recognize that he's done a great job dunking on a bunch of dumbass conservatives. But
okay, that part okay, never mind. I don't disagree with that. Yes, he is very good at going after lowest common denominator conservatives in the only instance where he's actually gone after a conservative that is also a successful orator, Ben Shapiro. He just sat there like a little puppy and agreed on so much. So much so that even Lex Fridman said, wow, it sure seems strange that you guys agree on a lot more than you disagree on. So yeah, going on Sigma Grindset podcast and like shitting on dudes who think that women should be in the kitchen is, you know, yeah, it's basically one step elevated from what Steven Crowder does. But whenever Destiny actually encounters someone who is more knowledgeable on a particular matter than he is, like an academic, for example, he will have to resort to as many rhetorical tools as possible in an effort to destabilize the conversation, keep his interlocutor on the back foot, and keep him consistently defending ridiculous positions to the best of his ability by claiming that he's simply testing their moral boundaries. Okay? He famously said that he has not real positions because that means he has to actually defend it. He likes to be on offense and assume the positions of Socratic questioner and try to find a gap in a person's knowledge so he can appear to be right. But if you examine his work, he doesn't actually have a consistent set of values. Yeah, he does not. That's why there's accounts like Destiny versus Destiny, where you can find older clips of Destiny defending a position and then immediately dunking on said position a couple of years later. It's not that he actually got new information and did his research, even though he claims that that is the case. It's because he's decided that he wants to defend that position now because it's a more fortuitous position for him, or sometimes a more edgy position for him, and that will garner him more attention and more love.
People are like, hey, your chat has been spamming a ton of like really hateful shit. And like every YouTuber's like, wait, what? My chat? I had no idea. I'm just now hearing about this. I had no idea. It's like, bro, come on. Really?
Ethan Klein, if you want to have a conversation with me, I am available. I can talk to you about any number of different political disagreements that we have, except this time I'm not going to be fucking nice to you. Okay? I'm not going to treat you with kitty gloves. They're saying they were hate watching. Yeah, that's the other thing. They currently are probably doing this right now as well. Destiny's website literally has a dedicated hate watching corner for every moment that he's not live. They'll just have my stream up or any number of different consistent rotating villains in his community. People that want nothing to do with him or his fans. Okay? They just sit there and hope that I kill myself, which is hilarious because, you know, I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to talk to you like you're a special boy who deserves my special attention and that you're so funny and so special. I'm going to talk to you in the same exact way that I would to an actual political content creator. If there is a absolute subhuman savage fuck commentator out there who was expressing your viewpoint about Israel, I'm going to talk to you in the same exact way that I would. Please, God, I'm begging you, kill Hasan. Please, please, please. Like, this level of vitriol I don't have for anyone, including Destiny, okay? And that motherfucker has done so much over the course of the past 5 years, okay? And I still don't want this. I want him to get better as well. I want him to just fucking leave me alone, really. I want him to leave other people that are in my vicinity alone as well. It's kind of crazy that these guys who have never met me ever in their entire lives have this strong of an opinion, okay, on someone who they claim to align with politically as well. That's the other side of the story, because these guys also personally consider themselves to be, they personally consider themselves to be progressives. They consider themselves to be liberals. Your chat was shitting on Ethan live yesterday. Come on, man. Yeah. This guy has been following me since 2018. This is a loyal soldier. Okay? This is a loyal Diddy Jeer. Probably came in here because, you know, Destiny and I were friendly with one another and collaborating with one another. Okay? Left after we parted ways, only to come back sporadically every now and then to just come in and say, you suck, probably currently hate watching. But the point is this. You don't know me. I don't know you. You shouldn't have these feelings for anyone. Okay? Or if you have this level of strong feelings for someone, they probably shouldn't be aligned, at least ideologically, with you in meaningful ways. You must ask yourself why you've gotten this angry over a dude you've never met that you've only seen online. Okay? Like, the only group of individuals that I've seen this level of vitriol from, that I've received this level of hatred from, are fucking neo-Nazis online, and I get why they feel that way about me. You know what I mean? But it's just no different than the unhealthy obsessions that you see in any other stan group. Okay? But at least, like, K-pop has some decent output. You know what I mean? They make, like, cool music and shit. I just will never understand being this level of parasocial for a dude who just, like, is super toxic and tries to humiliate every single person that he talks to and is very confidently incorrect regularly. So when you also repeat those statements that you hear from him and you regurgitate that, you also end up becoming confidently incorrect. Or just overall a toxic person to be around that people in the real world are not going to want to be around at all because you constantly find yourself debating them on minutia. Them, okay? So if you think that I'm afraid of you, I think you and I both know that that's not the case. I think you and I both know that there's a reason why, despite the fact that you and I have very similar enemies, some of which you've turned into your friends, even after they got, unfortunately they got out. I have. Hopefully his plane back home crashes. That's funny. Very similar enemies, some of which you've turned into your friends, even after they got, unfortunately they got outed as sex pests. But don't try to fucking pull a Sam Cedar on me. Guess you can't really do that with Destiny now, can you? Since, he was outed as a fucking sex pest. It's got to sting a little bit.
As a content creator, you have a huge ability to sculpt and shape how your community acts. If your chat is like wall to wall, like fuck these people, fuck these, that's behavior that's coming from the top down. And if you're not like taking steps to do anything about it, you're not addressing it at all. You're basically co-signing it.
I remember in Caroline's third ever stream, there was a person that came into her chat basically saying, hey, I see you've been streaming for only a couple days and you focus on politics. You should watch out for this psycho called Hassan Piker. I recommend you stream with a guy called Destiny. He's very smart and welcoming. They're also insanely insidious, prowling for brand new streamers to flip. Yeah. No, it's a cult. They're looking for new victims. That's it. They're looking for new victims so they can bring them into the cult and turn them into Destiny, as Destiny likes to call them, and as they also self-brand, orbiters. Okay? There's sexual favors that could be traded in the process as well, clearly. Okay? But ultimately, it's just a cult. And everyone serves one purpose, which is to undermine Destiny's enemies and advocate for his cause. But it's not a liberal cause in particular. It's a Destiny cause. That's it. Did Caroline take that advice? Well, considering that I've known her for almost a decade, I don't think that she was going to take that advice. But I mean, this is loyalty. This person was banned in 11/10/2023, and that person is still watching, hate watching, and demanding I kill myself. I think between you and I, one of us is closer to suicide than the other. And I don't think it's me. If that's the kind of behavior that you're engaging in on a regular basis, you don't have a lot going on in your life. I would recommend you get help as fast as possible and you try to snap out of it. Please. It's just projection.
Like Destiny said in his manifesto against Keffals, I don't think we should be afraid to hold members of our own community accountable.
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
And Destiny has done a lot of fucked up shit that I think he needs to be held accountable for. Just because he's a good debater who's really good at defending the liberal ideology, I don't think that means that we should sweep his bad behavior under the rug.
And I don't understand how Steven can really say that he wants to be a serious political advocate if he doesn't want to manage his personal life in any way that's serious. Why should the DNC involve you in anything that they want when your personal life looks like a fucking train wreck that's going to be bad PR for all of them? Why should anyone want to spend time debating you on these bigger platforms if all you're going to do is bring fucking tarnishing their reputation, right? It's if you're serious about this, you should make this sacrifice. And if you can't, then I don't think you really care about the political positions that you claim to care about.
My goal in this video is to simply lay out all of his actions from across the years that I consider harmful and allow you to come to your own conclusions. All right? Let's get into it. In this video, I hope to establish a pattern of how Destiny over the course of his career has repeatedly taken advantage of and harmed women and occasionally children, and how he has advocated for a world that makes it easier for people like him to harm women and children. We'll start by going through Destiny's harmful behavior towards women, then we'll take a detour to his harmful behavior towards children, and then we'll loop back around to his harmful behavior towards women again. Sound good? Well, it's not going to be. Around the end of 2011, Destiny sexually assaulted a woman on his live stream. I'm not using the word allegedly here because we have video of him doing it and he has openly admitted that it was sexual assault.
I would say that in my streaming career in the past, totally publicly, I completely and totally assaulted a girl on stream before for like fucking 5 minutes or whatever. I got super fucking drunk and was like grabbing her fucking breast the entire time.
Later, Destiny has attempted to downplay his actions here by tweeting, "I was drunk off my ass, literally for the first time in my life." And he said that at the time, he didn't understand how bad it was, but now, looking back years later, he understands that it was reprehensible behavior.
And at the time, I figured like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna fuck anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's chill or whatever. Like, I'm drunk. It doesn't matter. Like, at the time, I'm thinking like, you know, oh, it's not a big deal. But like looking back, I'm like, okay, wait, this is like really, really, really reprehensible behavior.
But if you go back and watch the clip, immediately after assaulting her, he says, "Listen, I'm gonna apologize to you so much tomorrow."
Listen, I'm gonna apologize
Yeah,
to
say
you
sorry.
so much tomorrow.
Why would you need to apologize to her tomorrow, Destiny? Is it maybe because you understood that what you were doing was wrong? To me, this shows that even in his incredibly drunk state, he knew that what he was doing is wrong. And obviously, being drunk does not absolve you of your actions. Otherwise, we wouldn't criminalize drunk driving.
You've come here to this stream to defend drunk drivers to me.
This is a common tactic with Destiny where he'll half take accountability for something, but half try to downplay it by saying, "Oh, I was so drunk at the time. Oh, I didn't understand how bad it was at the time." But I'm calling bullshit. You understood that what you were doing was bad, even back when you did it, because you were an adult, not a baby. According to this woman, Destiny has never directly apologized to her, even though she would like him to. She acknowledges that he has indirectly apologized on his stream, but my question is, did he apologize?
I would bet anything if you DM'd him to come on stream, he would bring you on to talk about it. Dude, it's like this is what I mean. This is what I mean in terms of like his fan base and the way that they operate. Like everything's content. It's like, oh, just come on the stream. Come on the stream. And he'll apologize for it publicly. Would love an apology. I don't think he ever will, but everyone that is there, hell, even the stream viewers could see we didn't make him drink. We were all drinking, and it wasn't a pass to grab anyone on live stream. The whole trip was odd. He has apologized on streams and such indirectly. It's fine. I know he regrets it. It's just crazy. It's like, hey, come here. Debate him about whether or not your sexual assault was that bad. You know? It's ridiculous. Weren't you just saying that about talking with Ethan? My friend, one, I have privately reached out to him. Okay? That's number one. Number two, Ethan has spent the past 6 months basically turning what I suspect are political disagreements into an entirely different campaign of trying to fucking get me deplatformed. I didn't sexually harass him. How are these two things remotely in the same territory? What the fuck? You're a sociopath. We know who you are now. Why are you propagandizing? You're a sociopath. I used to love your Twitch, but you're a monster. You're a propagandist. You're a propagandist. It sucks that there are so many NPCs out there, like straight up. No, I'm gonna unban that person. They can continue being insane in the chat if they choose to do so. Okay, respond to the allegations. This is not a DGG, this is a foot soldier. Sad state of affairs to see people that otherwise used to be in a very, very progressive community basically mold and redefine their worldview in real time over a long and convoluted crash out in the background of an ethnic cleansing campaign that the political disagreement started over. I hope that you can come to terms on your own without being, motivated by anyone. Talk about the allegations is an H3 meme. Exactly.
apologize on his stream to save his reputation, or did he apologize because he was genuinely remorseful? I will allow you to answer that question for yourself as we go through more of Destiny's pattern of behavior from over the years. In 2012, Destiny shared private nudes of a woman he had been sexting named Blue Tea with his friends. Destiny will often claim that the reason for his actions are because he was provoked into doing them and he had no other choice.
I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand.
That was part of Ethan's video, is that you're a propagandist and he thinks propaganda is equals lies. Yes, propaganda didn't used to be a negative term, okay? I had a literal show on the Young Turks called Agitative Propaganda. Okay? That's number one. Number two, I will always be honest with you about my political perspectives on any given issue. Do you understand? Propaganda is no different than saying public relations. I saw someone say that comparing you to Osama bin Laden on Twitch versus terrorists should actually be a compliment because we love Osama bin Laden so much. Oh, that's nice. I've legitimately seen on stream chatters linking a docs of a chatter about shit. It's insane. I haven't been duped. Y'all are in the same echo chamber as those in Destinies. Wait, what? So you're an anti-Destiny, anti-me guy? I don't understand. Your chat isn't exactly like his, clueless. Yes, no one does anything. What? Once again, just keyword search Hasan on his YouTube page and then keyword search Destiny on mine. And I think you will arrive at a very quick conclusion that there is no parody here. No parody whatsoever. I suspect that you are a bit of a conservative chatter, if this is the perspective that you hold. But that is ridiculous.
But here, there was no provocation. He just thought it would be funny to share this woman's private nudes with his friends and joke about how fucking hideous her face is compared to her beautiful body. And he also insulted her because he thought she looked like Shrek. So he shared a woman's private nudes without consent for the purpose of degrading her. In response, Blue Tea hacked Destiny's Twitter and tweeted out pictures of his dick. Obviously, I condemn this woman's actions. She posted revenge porn of Destiny, which is never justified. But don't forget that the situation that provoked this was Destiny maliciously sharing her nudes without her consent. On Reddit, Destiny replied to her by saying,
"Oh my God, you're doing it again. You use genocide when challenged so the other person can't press you." He's talking about gen again. OME. You always somehow bring up genocide as soon as you get challenged. In the context of myself and Ethan Klein's disagreements over Israel, yes, genocide is the main issue. This is not a simple deflection. And I think the quicker you understand that, the easier things will be for you. Just because Ethan keeps deflecting away and has probably mentioned the word genocide significantly more times as a humorous quip, both in his video and in general throughout the past 16 months of genocide, okay? That should be a little alarming to you if you do truly care about these values. This isn't to say that Ethan doesn't recognize what Israel is doing as a genocide. I'm not entirely certain on where he lands on this issue because I think he does change his mind quite a bit. Okay? My conversation or my argument surrounding Ethan was that it was pathetically selfish to basically look at hundreds of thousands of people dead underneath the rubble, cholera outbreaks, famine, entire city blocks destroyed, and look at all of that and say, but what about my feelings? I think having a back and forth conversation revolving YouTube drama on the backdrop of a genocide is ridiculous. That was the point I was making. Not that I didn't have any time to do anything else, or not that I was simply using genocide to deflect away from honest criticism. Okay? I think it is incredibly scummy, like true heinous scumbag behavior, to look at all of these atrocities and basically try to use that to air out your own personal grievances with another person that you used to have a podcast with because you felt some type of way about your own progressive community coming to conclusions on their own over your own personal output on this issue. That's it. You can keep saying, I'm simply deflecting away. What have you actually done for Palestine other than platform yourself for money? True. I guess you got me there, chatter. I don't think I'll be able to ever... there's literally clips of you using the genocide card. No, dude. No. What you're referring to is Ethan cynically clipping shit to make it seem like I'm saying, oh, I just can't talk to Ethan. I'm too scared of him because there's a genocide going on, and not what I just described to you. If I am the primary target here, okay, don't you think that my perspective in this matters? Or do you think you can just keep repeating it over and over again? It doesn't feel like you care about the truth of the matter whatsoever, or even my perspective. You're in here simply to say genocide card, which is a gross fucking statement to make regardless, especially when, you know, I have fairly actively covered all of these atrocities that have happened over the course of the past 16 months. And not only that, but that is also part of the reason why I have been endlessly harassed by the ADL, Destiny, and even Ethan fucking Klein. It's not simply a card to be utilized in a fucking content nuke. Okay? That's the point that I'm trying to make. And yet many people don't understand that. Ethan used a lot of clips of chatters trying to derail during Gaza content that make it seem like you shut down conversation using the word genocide, not because you were mid-coverage of mass murder. Yeah, it's gross. It's a really gross and really fucked up thing to do. It is a morally repugnant thing to do. Okay? A lot of people, I think, they fall victim to the whims of narcissistic people online in the simplest terms. Okay? That's it. Are you 100% convinced he's taking advantage of things and being disingenuous instead of just genuinely believing these weird views? Like, are you sure he's lying for attention rather than being delusional? No, I mean, I think there's a it's a little column A, little column B for sure. Didn't you raise over $1 million for Palestinian aid within a week after 10/7? Yes, and then everyone said I was funding everyone said I was funding Hamas. Anyway, I'm gonna keep watching this video no matter how hard you guys try to derail it.
I can't imagine how you can think that people will never, ever, ever talk about anything personal or private amongst their friends. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I can't see myself caring at all if you shared pictures between your close friends, especially given the fact that I'd never see any of them in real life. So, in this comment, Destiny is admitting that he did send the nudes without consent, and he's attempting to downplay his actions. A couple years later, when one of Destiny's friends named Bob7 allegedly shared a woman's nudes without her consent, Destiny said that this should be life-destroying.
Bob7 shared nude photographs of multiple women after pressuring one to post one without their consent. But I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying revelations.
But when Destiny does it, he justifies it by saying that he wouldn't care if someone did it to him.
One of those comments was literally someone at DNC telling you to blow your nose when talking about Gaza. Apparently you telling that chatter to focus on the subject in hand is pulling the genocide card. These people really don't have any morals at all. Incredible stuff. I said this earlier today. Was it a Palestinian? I thank you for everything you do. It matters a lot. I try my best.
This is known as the personal preference fallacy, arguing that something isn't wrong simply because you wouldn't.
Why are you not watching the video? Will you watch with him? Are you going to delete people questioning you? Considering that I literally unbanned you in spite of your hysterics, I think you should be a little bit more charitable. That's number one. Number two, I already said it. If Ethan Klein has any sort of issues with me, he can take it up with me directly. Okay? I thought that, now that he got it out of his system after 6 fucking months of constantly chirping, lying, desperately looking at his producers to be like, hey, do you guys agree with me? And have them sit there awkwardly in the fucking backdrop being like, I don't want to give a comment here because you're kind of fucking insane. Okay? As I've said, we can have that conversation face to face if he chooses to do so. But it doesn't seem like he wants to do that. It seems like he desperately wants me to watch his YouTube video. He's so proud of it. Okay? I'm down. I think there is something above simply watching a YouTube video of things that I have addressed a million times over. Okay? Saying that while defending a dude that censors his comments, chat on Reddit is really funny. I know. Also, speaking of censoriousness, okay? Speaking of censorship, I mean, Ethan is literally deleting every fucking critical comment under his fucking YouTube video. That's number one. I wish I was a millionaire like you. Wait, what? Okay, I don't know what this has to do with anything. Ethan is literally 100 times wealthier than I am. What the fuck? But okay. As I was stating, Mr. Comments are hidden on this video. Mr. I'm banning paid members on the live stream because they dare to question me is over here fucking, as his fans being like, you're engaging in censorship. At least this time on the fucking content nuke that he put together after 6 months, even though all that came out was just a dud after all of that work, the thing that he decided to do was delete comments before they got any sort of motion whatsoever.
Care if it was personally done to you. Even if Destiny wouldn't care if someone shared his nudes, which I doubt, that doesn't make it okay for him to do it to someone else. And a couple years later, Destiny demonstrates that he knows that sharing nudes is wrong by laughing at this clip of someone explaining how it's wrong.
The guy sent the nudes to his buddy, and the buddy sent it to the other buddy, and it just the whole school had her nudes.
Wow,
right?
That's cray.
That in and of itself is another example of violating consent. Even though for so long we were trained to be like, oh, consent has to do with sex.
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
Him laughing like this is him sarcastically showing that he obviously understands it's wrong. So I think even back when Destiny did this, he understood that it was wrong. He's just pretending like he didn't understand that it was wrong to avoid taking accountability for his actions. Destiny has a long history of really not liking when women post about their negative sexual experiences online. Real talk, opening up about quote-unquote your rape and shit on Twitter is incredibly fucking weird and should never have been normalized. I have no idea why the fuck people encourage others to trauma dump on social media. It's insanely unhealthy. This was in response to a woman sharing an allegation about how she was stealthed. She was allegedly having sex with a man. She had established the boundary beforehand that he needed to wear a condom during sex, but in the middle of sex, he removed the condom, which is a form of rape. I agree with Destiny that sometimes trauma dumping on social media can be unhealthy, but sharing allegations on social media obviously has the possible benefit of holding people accountable for their actions. And putting the words your rape in quotation marks obviously implies that he's casting some level of doubt onto her story. It's one thing to wait to see evidence before you fully believe someone's story that they post on social media. It's another thing to instantly cast doubt on their story just because you're annoyed that they decided to post about it on social media. This controversy started because Destiny had retweeted someone who tweeted, "If you knew he took off the condom and you couldn't even bring yourself to say anything, you shouldn't be having casual sex." A bunch of people got mad at Destiny for retweeting this, so then he tweeted, "If you are noticing someone is taking a condom off and you can't say anything, you probably don't have the emotional maturity to engage in sex. You should probably just grab a caretaker or something and stick to masturbating to furry porn. Sorry." People got even more mad at this tweet, so then he tweeted, "Sorry, I want to apologize for my last tweet. You should treat every single woman you come across like a retarded child who's incapable of voicing an opinion about literally anything. Ideally, you would bring her dad along to every fuck so he can guide her through the process." First of all, she did clearly assert her boundaries before sex. She just struggled to reassert her boundaries when this man started raping her because this made her so uncomfortable. I agree that if you struggle to reassert your boundaries during sex, this could make it more likely that you would end up being harmed during sex. And we should obviously encourage people to assert their boundaries during sex as much as they possibly can. But rather than show empathy for women who struggle to tell men to stop because they're so terrified while they're being raped, Destiny decides to insult these women's emotional maturity and call them retarded children. According to a neuroscience article in the journal Nature Human Behavior, victims frequently report immobility during rape and sexual assault, often using the term freezing. Neuroscientific evidence suggests fear and threat can block cortical neural circuits for action control, leading to involuntary immobility. And this sort of immobility can manifest as physical immobility or verbal immobility. A 2017 Scandinavian study reported that 70% of the 298 women who had visited an emergency clinic within a month of experiencing sexual violence had experienced significant tonic immobility or paralysis when it happened. So when women struggle to reassert their boundaries while they're being raped, this isn't because they're children with no emotional maturity. There are actual neurological reasons for this behavior. When the streamer Hans of Harkir brings up the fact that these women could be having a freeze response when they experience stealthing, Destiny disregards this and says that a victim couldn't possibly have a freeze response just from seeing a man take his condom off.
Freeze up is some shit where you're like in a fucking traumatic situation and somebody's doing some crazy shit. Not like you look down and you see that some asshole is trying to slip a condom off. Like, oh, I'm frozen out. I can't fucking think. I don't take the condom off. I'm fucking completely frozen. Bro, what the fuck kind of 14-year-olds are you fucking? No, are you serious?
But according to a 2010 study titled Facing Freeze, Social Threat-Induced Bodily Freeze in Humans, even negative social interactions can trigger a psychological freeze response in some people. The more fear someone is experiencing, the more likely they are to have a freeze response, but even a moderate amount of fear can still induce a psychological freeze response. And seeing someone non-consensually removing their condom during sex after you've established that they need to wear a condom absolutely could cause enough fear to induce a freeze response. The way that Destiny chooses to mock these women who claim that they do have a freeze response while being stealthed is just really fucking gross. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I'm frozen out. I can't fucking think. I don't take the condom off. I'm fucking completely frozen.
I think this is from the person who is the retarded child. They said, I've actually been raped, and saying no just made him rape me harder. I know that's what happened after he pulled out. This is not incomprehensible that I would just walk away from that situation.
It sounds like she needs to stop having casual sex.
To be clear, I don't think that Destiny is saying it's okay to stealth people, but I do think he is choosing to mock women for something that is outside of their control. Obviously, women do have some level of control over reasserting their boundaries during sex, and we should always encourage people to assert their boundaries as much as possible. But if someone is struggling to reassert their boundaries because of a freeze response when someone is raping them, maybe we shouldn't call them retarded children. After this controversy, the absolutely brilliant trans activist known as Keffels decided to make a false allegation against Destiny. She claimed that Destiny himself had stealthed a woman.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape. Insane.
As far as we know, this is totally untrue. Destiny himself has not stealthed a woman. He was just a massive asshole to a woman who was stealthed. To give Keffels credit, she did acknowledge soon after this that she was wrong and Destiny actually didn't stealth anyone.
Wait, I don't...
This is wild because, like, rarely ever do you have just so many people that fucking despise me fighting each other all the time. And I want nothing to do with any individual involved.
I don't know if he did it. Wait, Backing up, I don't actually know if he did it.
But Keffels, maybe consider trying to be really sure before you make these types of allegations against people. Destiny is correct that spreading false allegations like this absolutely does undermine the cause of the left. Making this false allegation against Destiny allowed him to shift his focus onto your false allegation instead of focusing on the fact that he was a massive asshole to this woman who was stealthed. Unfortunately, many of the people who have tried to take down Destiny over the years haven't been the sharpest tools in the shed. Speaking of tools in the shed, let's talk about the time that Destiny tweeted that he hopes a woman is raped to death with a shovel. In 2015, the porn star Stoya tweeted allegations that the male porn star James Dean had raped her. This tweet really upset Destiny because, as we've established, he really does not like it when women talk about their negative sexual experiences online. Jesus, why not file a fucking police report instead of tweeting this? You're fucking disgusting. What a fucking idiot at Stoya. Stephen Bennell, why don't you write us a long list of everything you feel a survivor of rape should do? Then I'll use it to wipe my ass. Survivor of rape. It's rape, not murder, not beheading, not a fatal car crash. Everyone survives rape. Get over it.
What's really interesting about this also is that this community has routinely relied on radfems to fucking haunt my ass, basically, by bringing up and falsely claiming that I went to a brothel that was charged with like sex trafficking. They'll just like regularly lie about insane shit. They'll say that they'll always use that clip where I'm talking about the anti-woke pro-rape college that Republicans send their daughters and sons to, saying that if these guys want to voluntarily go to the rape school, it's better to just keep them contained at the pro-rape school rather than have them run rampant on every college campus, claiming that that is me saying Hasan wants rich women to be victims of rape. And people see those things and not realize that it's coming from the community helmed by this fucking asshole and just get up in their feelings. It's so easy to manipulate large groups of people and get them to be on board with a fucking cause. It's crazy without anyone ever doing like their due diligence.
Yourself. Survivor of rape here. Hello. Want to talk about how hard it is to go on every day? Kill yourself so you don't have to live with the pain. So rape survivors should just get over it because at least they didn't die. And if they're dealing with a lot of pain or trauma because of their rape, they should just kill themselves because if they kill themselves, the pain will stop. Very cool, Steven. I have no idea why anyone has ever accused you of being a rape apologist. This should go without saying, but obviously it's good for rape survivors to file police reports to hold rapists accountable, but police reports don't always lead to rapists being held accountable for their actions, which is why sometimes it's good to post about it on social media. At least Destiny will be happy that the woman he allegedly recorded while they were having sex without her knowledge did file a police report against Destiny. Good job, Cherry. You have done things in the Destiny-approved way. Right after this, Destiny got into an argument with another woman about how James Dean didn't respect Stoya's safe word.
How does this slug still have an audience is such a funny question to ask, because there are a lot of people who agree with him. There are a lot of people who just have really awful perspectives. That's it. I don't know how else to describe this process. Okay? Hasan frogs are so out of touch with reality, it's concerning, to be honest. We're watching a dude literally tweet at victims of rape and victim blaming, and you think this community is out of touch for being against that sort of behavior? Are you okay? Why are you voluntarily defending this, what you're seeing
Stephen
on
Bennell,
screen?
ignoring a safe word and not stopping when someone asks is ignoring consent and is rape. Go fuck yourself. Kill yourself, you fucking cunt. I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel until you bleed out your fucking vag and die. Holy. This right here is probably the most violent, vitriolic language that I have ever seen Destiny use in his entire career on the internet. And it just so happens to be in response to women talking about their negative sexual experiences. My question after seeing all of this is, why does Destiny have such an intense hatred for women talking about their negative sexual experiences on the internet? Is it because he just cares so much about these women and he doesn't want them to harm their own mental health because trauma dumping on the internet can be really damaging for them? Or is it maybe because a culture where women feel comfortable coming forth with allegations on the internet can lead to women like Pixie and Cherry and Melina coming forth with allegations against people like Destiny, exposing them for being massive pieces of shit? I will again allow you to answer that question for yourself. We'll get back to Destiny treating women like shit a little bit later on, but now let's pivot to Destiny harming children. For some strange reason, a lot of people like to label Destiny here a pedophile. So in the next section, we'll get to the bottom of whether or not Mr. Bunnell here really is a certified EDP 445. Is Destiny really a pedo, or are these just false, slanderous allegations meant to try to dethrone the debate bro king? Let's find out. In 2012, when Destiny was 23, he shared in a group chat with a couple of his friends the messages, "You want to see the sickest shit in the world? So many fangirls. I had one that was 15. She wanted to meet and hook up. Dude, she's 15, what the fuck? But she sent me pictures that made it so hard to say no." Then Destiny linked a picture of this girl in a bikini in the chat and said, "Girl on the left, so hard to say no. Gonna get arrested one of these MLGs, man." So in these logs, when Destiny was 23, he said that it was really hard to turn down hooking up with this 15-year-old because she looked so good.
I've covered a bunch of this stuff as well in the past, so it's not like that shocking, I guess. Some of you have probably heard me cover this stuff recently. But it is like, this dude has been a menace for a decade plus, okay? A decade plus.
In this picture of her in a bikini. He then shared this lewd image of a child with his friends and said that he's gonna get arrested someday. Well, like I said, a woman just filed a police report against Destiny, so we'll just have to wait and see if his prediction comes true. A couple years later, in 2015, when Destiny was 26, he shared in his chat, "I would fuck the shit out of that 15-year-old, what the fuck? There's no way that chick is 15. So now we've seen two separate occasions where Destiny says that he's attracted to 15-year-olds. Ironically, this conversation where he's sharing a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini with his friends is the exact same conversation where he also shared that other woman's nudes without her consent. Sharing non-consensual nudes and sharing a picture of a child in a bikini in one conversation? What a certified Destiny moment. This is what we in the business call a Diddy-stiny party. A common defense that Destiny fans will give when he says that he wants to have sex with children is that he's just joking. For example, these tweets where he says, "You were hot at 10? Any pics? Check DMs. Jesus, I've never wanted to bend someone over the hood of their little tyke so bad." I do think these tweets are
Why won't the DNC take me seriously?
jokes, very strange jokes, but I don't think that him saying he wanted to hook up with this 15-year-old was a joke. You know that classic prank where you send your friends pictures of kids in bikinis and say how hot you find them as a joke? And to help prove that this wasn't a joke, here are some clips of Destiny doubling down on his attraction to this 15-year-old in a debate with someone named Mr. Medicare.
Of course, of this chat log, I was talking with a bunch of other esports guys, and we were basically talking about how crazy the fucking jailbait is in the gaming communities. It's ridiculous. I think I said something along the lines of like, there are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck that will like try to send you pictures to like fuck you at events and shit, and it's like you have to be really careful when you navigate that.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation to?
I never admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this. I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself, and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think.
Wait, how old was she?
She said she was 15.
So you did get pictures from a 15-year-old?
Not nudes though. Sorry, I should specify. I think a couple pics of her like at the beach or some shit. But
in swimwear.
Yeah.
So you're getting swimwear pics from 15-year-olds?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This shit is fucking crazy. Shit is fuck.
So in these clips, he says that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and he admits to sharing a picture of this 15-year-old in a bikini to his friends. So is Destiny a pedophile? pedophile? Well, he admitted that he finds some 15-year-olds hot as fuck, and he sent his...
Well, his response to this would be, actually, it's a phebophilia. Pedophilia is being sexually attracted to a different type of minor, an even younger minor, which, you know, problematic for obvious reasons.
His friends a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini because he found her so attractive. A lot of arguments with Destiny about pedophilia end up getting wrapped up in semantic debates about labels instead of focusing on the facts of the matter. If you call Destiny a pedo for being attracted to a 15-year-old, he'll launch into a tirade about how, pedophilia is the attraction to prepubescent children and 15-year-olds are post-pubescent. So therefore, by calling me a pedo, you have slandered me. So then you go, okay, I guess you're not a pedophile, you're an ephebophile, because ephebophilia is the attraction to teenagers aged 15 to 19. So then he'll go, no, ephebophilia is the primary attraction to mid to late adolescents. I'm mostly attracted to adults. I'm just a little bit attracted to children.
There are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck.
So therefore, I am not an ephebophile, and you have slandered me yet again. Also, there's nothing inherently wrong with ephebophilia because 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds fall under the category of ephebophilia, and there's nothing wrong with being attracted to adults, so your normative position condemning ephebophilia in its entirety is already a flawed premise. And even if I was a pedophile, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to children. It's only bad if you act on that attraction. So therefore, you have slandered me in countless ways, and my community will now harass you for years. See how you've now had an exhaustive
Masterclass on how Destiny and his community operate on literally this issue.
20-minute debate about labels instead of focusing on the fact that Destiny admitted to being attracted.
I hate to be pedantic, but in the law, the word pedophile means being sexually interested in any child, which is defined as a person under the age of majority, which is 18 in most states in the world. So calling them a pedophile is totally valid. To me, I think ephebophilia is basically a substitute term where you're just saying like, no, you don't understand. I want to fuck fuckable minors is what you're saying. So you still think like some minors are fuckable. Got it. That's still weird, dog. You're a weirdo. You know what I mean?
To some children and admitted to acting on that attraction by sending a picture of a child in a bikini to his friends. This is the debate bro way. Crush your opponent through pedantic arguments about semantics so you never have to actually take accountability for your actions. As far as we know, I don't think Destiny falls under the clinical definition of pedophile, but the colloquial definition of pedophile is someone who is attracted to children, and Destiny is at least somewhat attracted to children.
There are some 15, 16-year-old chicks that like look pretty fucking hot. Like I can't help that. Like some people mature fucking older.
Destiny defended another streamer who got exposed for having sex with a 14-year-old by saying, even if he did bang a 14-year-old, no, that's not what pedophile means. Go look it up. Seriously, if you don't understand the difference between being attracted to someone that happens to be young and being attracted...
He's such a meme of libertarianism too. It's pretty fucking nuts. It is kind of crazy that so many people just hear all of this and still kind of go, nah, that's my goat. Go look it up. It's actually ephebophilia.
someone because they are young, you have absolutely no business whatsoever commenting on the issue, period. It makes you look uneducated. I really want to see someone use this argument and...
You said he has no convictions, but this is probably one principal conviction that he's never wavered on. Okay, fair. It seems like he does actually have a somewhat consistent attitude on this issue for the past 15 years.
Court, Your Honor, I didn't have sex with that baby because I'm attracted to babies. I had sex with that baby because it just so happened to be a really hot baby. Most babies are not hot.
That and saying the N-word. That's true.
But every once in a while, one of those extra special babies rolls their stroller on past my goon cave, and I just can't help myself. But this does not make me a pedophile. You look really uneducated right now. You know what, Destiny? You can feel free to have your pedantic definition of pedophile that only applies to being specifically attracted to prepubescent children because of the fact that they are prepubescent. And I can say that I think you are a freak for saying as a 26-year-old that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and for as a 23-year-old sharing around a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini. Deal? The next child-related Destiny incident is when him and his friends, the Bro Squad, watched an 8-year-old boy shake his penis for them on a live stream.
I shouldn't tell this because I'm gonna get fucking arrested. Or Child Protective Services. I used to be part of this horrible thing called the Bro Squad, okay? Fucking me, if you remember that fucking Cheeks bitch, and fucking a couple other people that have never been on my stream before, we're part of the Bro Squad, and what we would do is we would go around Justin TV streams, trolling the shit out of these people. And we went around from
Man, that's such a funny troll, dude. That's crazy.
channel to channel, like fucking around. Like it was just horrible shit. We went to this channel with this fucking like, this kid was like 8 years old, and he was fucking broing out with everybody in this chat. For whatever fucking reason, this kid decides to fucking take his pants off and fucking wiggle his 8-year-old dick on stream. I can't even believe it. Oh my fucking god. It was like, I didn't even know, like, we were on...
Dude, epic troll, man. Epic troll, sir. Epsteiny.
Guy, we were like, holy shit. Like, we had to do like a double take because we didn't even fucking know like what the fuck was on. Like, we were looking at like an 8-year-old dick like on the fucking screen. And his fucking brother and his brother, we called him Captain Push-Ups, would like come in the room. And this guy was like fucking 14 years old. He had his shirt off and he was like this. Like watching this stream the entire time and shit. Oh my god.
As far as what Destiny says in this clip, they didn't ask the child to pull his pants down, but I still think it's very bad that him and his Bro Squad didn't immediately click off of this live stream the second that this child exposed himself. If a child exposes themselves to you, I think you have a moral responsibility to immediately click away from that shit. But I guess Destiny and his Bro Squad thought it was really funny to sit and laugh while staring at an 8-year-old's penis. Next, a couple years later, Destiny planned to kill a kid. Apparently, this kid was DDoSing Destiny's website. DDoSing is when you overwhelm a website with fake internet traffic, causing it to shut down. And because Destiny's website was shut down, he was no longer able to make money from it.
Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, I was so, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you had no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything.
Destiny obviously never went through with killing this kid, but the fact that he legitimately planned to kill him is unhinged.
Were you really considering it? Yeah, of course. It's actually kind of scary, like how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. How old was the kid in relation to you? I think the kid was probably 16. I think I was 22.
Destiny has defended this to this day, saying that if someone is stopping you from making money, this justifies killing them, even if they're a child.
If you came outside every single day and some guy was slashing your tires and he wouldn't stop and you called the police and nobody wanted to do anything, despite having proof for it, you're like, well, I'm gonna have to attack this dude and maybe even kill him. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Obviously, I agree that someone maliciously taking away your primary source of income is incredibly bad, but I think there are a lot of other possible avenues you could explore before jumping to the nuclear option of shooting a child. As much as it obviously sucks to lose your income, I think if you need to choose between killing a child in cold blood and losing your Twitch revenue, you're just gonna need to put the fries in the bag and get a new job. The next child-related Destiny incident is when he encouraged an infamous lolly or drawn CP artist to draw a picture of his 6-year-old child. This artist is a man named Shadman.
Wait, what?
You might recognize Shadman.
I never thought there would be new things that I find out about how freakish he is. How the fuck does he always seemingly elevate? No, I know the fucking DDoS kid that he wanted to kill. I know that one. And yes, I know that Luka Doncic is in LA now. I know.
From the recent controversy with Ava Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast, who was a really big fan of Shadman's work. Shadman has a long history of drawing pornographic images of actual children, including Keemstar's daughter, and because Destiny was aware of this, he encouraged Shadman to draw a pornographic image of his 6-year-old son. This controversy started because Destiny had been insulting the YouTube animation community. In response, Shadman made this drawing of Destiny to make fun of him, so Destiny then responded to Shadman by tweeting, "Hey at Shadbase, if drawing fan art of me is a tad uncomfortable, you could try drawing my son. He's only 6, so it should be easier for you." To try to be good faith to Destiny, this tweet was obviously a joke, and he didn't actually want Shadman to draw a picture of his son.
Okay, never mind. I thought he was like actually urging him to. No, that's not.
However, I still think that goading a known CP artist into drawing CP of your own son is incredibly irresponsible. Because imagine if Shadman took him up on his request and did go ahead and make the drawing in the same way he had drawn Keemstar's daughter. Then, Destiny's son would have had to deal with the fact that there would be drawn CP of him floating around the internet for the rest of his life. If there was a known child murderer and you decided to tweet at that child murderer, "Hey, how about you come murder my child, LOL?" I think we would all agree that that would be incredibly irresponsible, even if that was just a joke. In the same way, I think it's incredibly irresponsible to encourage a known CP artist to draw CP of your child, even if it's just a joke. Thankfully, Shadman did not end up drawing Destiny's child like he had drawn Keemstar's child, and Destiny got to have fun making his little joke.
What a great comeback.
Even though this joke could have come at the expense of his 6-year-old son's safety.
I'm not gonna lie. I really do think less of people that actively and openly collaborate with Destiny. It's probably my biggest shortcoming. Yeah. Straight up. I think it is. I think it is a shortcoming. Maybe because I know too much of it. Maybe some people don't know. He's just so fucking gross, dude. Like, it doesn't mean I hate you. Right? But I really do think just a tad bit less of you, you know?
Even though a lot of these situations involving children happened quite a while ago, I still think Destiny has been spreading harmful rhetoric around children even quite recently. A couple years ago, Destiny said that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old would not be grooming.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming.
So that clip sounds pretty bad, right? But we don't want to approach Destiny in bad faith or take him out of context, so let's try to understand the actual argument that Destiny is making.
That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. Now, let's say there's a person that's 30 years old and they're specifically seeking out like 14, 15-year-olds to kind of just like talk to them about their school life, figure out what their problems are, you know, be cool because you're old and you have experience, and then you kind of weasel in like sex. That's like grooming, right? That would be like grooming.
So Destiny's argument is that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old isn't grooming, but if a 30-year-old tries to weasel their way into a 14-year-old's life and slowly manipulate them into sexting them, this would be grooming. But this argument goes against the definition of grooming. The definition of grooming is the action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with the intention of assaulting them or inducing them to commit an illegal act. Guess what, Destiny? Nowhere in that definition does it say that grooming has to be a slow process. Grooming is just forming a relationship with a child for the purpose of sex. A lot of times grooming is a slow process because they have to slowly break down the child's boundaries in order to get them to have a sexual relationship with them, but sometimes grooming can happen very quickly. For example, in situations where the child already has some established level of trust with the person who is grooming them. In this clip, Destiny is talking about influencers who sext their underage fans and saying that these influencers sexting their fans wouldn't necessarily be grooming because grooming is a slow process. The reason that influencers are often able to groom their fans so quickly is because their fans already have an established parasocial relationship.
Also, someone in the chat said, so what is this guy's deal? Is he like a nuanced pervert? No, he presents himself. He presents himself as a nuanced pervert, and sometimes it's purely for the spirit of debate to make it seem like he can defend an indefensible position, and other times it is because he's trying to use the nuanced pervertry to basically aesthetically look like he's winning the argument. That's it.
With the influencer. If a teacher wants to groom a student, this usually happens more slowly because the teacher doesn't have a pre-established relationship with the student. But because influencers already have a parasocial relationship with their fans, grooming can occur much more quickly. Maybe Destiny's argument is that the very first time you sext a 14-year-old, this wouldn't be grooming yet because you haven't established a relationship with them yet. But this is still a stupid argument because in this context, randomly sexting a 14-year-old for the first time would be the first step in attempting to groom them. You're acting like everyone.
I think Ethan made some good points in his content, Nuke. You should watch it. Yeah, I instead of watching it, I said Ethan can address all of these issues with me in person on camera. We can have a conversation. To which he responded with, only if you watch my video first, which seems interesting because I'm the subject matter of the video. So why doesn't he just bring it up in normal conversation? And no, I don't think that he actually brought up good points. He rehashed the same points that have been brought up a million times over. Points that I've addressed a million times over. Just lie and say you watch it off stream. I see no reason to lie. So yeah, it's not. If I was running away from Ethan's very valid critiques, I wouldn't try and talk to him directly, right? That's my point. I think it's pretty ridiculous to claim that I am afraid of his point of view and afraid of the nuanced perspective that he has to offer after 6 months of crying about how I'm a, anti-Semitic terrorism defender. That's it. If I was truly afraid of him, I would not have a conversation. I would not be willing to have a conversation with him. It seems like he's the one who's trying to hide behind other people's research, hide behind other people's Reddit posts, instead of having this conversation in broad daylight. I thought he was a massive debate lord who, has defeated the likes of Just Pearly Things. He has defeated so many of his interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas. He's a brilliant political mind. So let's do it. Let's have a conversation. Yeah. Instead of hiding behind Instagram stories or going into your own live stream and crying about it after the fact. You have such a Fidel history will absolve me vibe to it all, and I love it. I mean, history has already absolved me. That's the reason why, especially in this particular matter, like the content nuke that was supposed to destroy my political career has yielded zero fucking results of the sort. And the reason for that is because most people know right from wrong, and they kind of have experienced outrage fatigue at this point. There's diminished results for constantly complaining about yet another person who is yet another person that is pro-Palestinian as being falsely smeared as an anti-Semite. After like the 700th time this happens, people go, yeah, I think the guy who I have heard personally actively combat anti-Semitism probably isn't an anti-Semite, and your disagreements actually revolve around something else, i.e., in particular, your disagreements over Israel. Yeah. People will be like, man, Ethan made some really good points. Meanwhile, his video is literally just saying, like, I'm Hasanabi.
Everyone is so stupid for not understanding grooming while you don't understand grooming. Destiny would claim that he just cares about definitional specificity, but the specific definitions you're promoting aren't even accurate. I'm not saying that Destiny is making this argument because he wants to groom children, but when you combine him saying that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, with him sharing around pictures of 15-year-olds in bikinis, with him saying that 30-year-olds sexting 14-year-olds isn't necessarily grooming, it starts to paint a very strange picture. Destiny also got really mad that people were labeling Drake a pedophile. He even had a debate about why it's totally fine for Millie Bobby Brown at 14 to be texting Drake about relationship advice.
Classic.
When you say he's texting her and he wants to give her dating advice, what if she's the one that brought it up first? Should he say something like, I'm sorry, but it's inappropriate for me to talk to you about high school boys? Or what? Like, what?
Yeah. You do it all the time. When some young person comes up to you and starts saying some weird stuff, you just sit there with this 13-year-old and then you start having conversations extended about them about dating.
Yeah, I have before. What do you mean? No, would I tell if a young person came up to me and they were asking me questions about some like boy problems or some shit? Yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, of course. What do you mean, I'm a 35-year-old man? Of course I'm gonna have better advice for them than some fucking random high school person. Yeah, of course.
Wait.
If a 15-year-old girl came up to me and she's like, there's some weird shit going on with a boy in my high school, I'd say, oh no, don't talk to me, honey. Go ask another 15-year-old boy or ask your fucking mom and dad who are gonna tell you to never talk to any boys ever. No, what the fuck?
Hold up. Do you think you should be talking to them about sex?
It depends on the context. I don't give a fuck. What do you mean? If a 15-year-old asks me and she's like, I think I'm gonna fuck this guy at school unprotected, yeah, I'd probably say, bro, you're 15. Don't destroy your fucking life. Make sure you guys are using protection. What the fuck? Why would I not say this?
Okay, and do you think that most parents finding out that you're talking to their kids about sex and giving them advice, do you think they would take it well?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. They should be talking to their own kids about it.
So apparently Destiny has given children relationship advice in the past.
He's got really solid understanding of consent and boundaries, it seems. So glad. Couldn't be a better person to give this sort of advice to children. I always read it as though he originally got pissy that he thought you should just believe his perspective because he's Israeli, so he just know better by default. Why he should be the expert on his homeland or whatever kind of vibe. And he just tantrumed about it. Yeah. Also, his fucking subreddit is on massive amounts of copium, being like, oh, it seems like the video was very well received. He's really mad. Not understanding that, like, the culmination of 6-7 months of bad faith smears that virtually everyone in his immediate orbit understands is like gross, but they can't fucking get him off this goddamn train that is collapsing his brand and probably hurting his mental health, is not going to yield the goddamn results that he thought he was going to yield. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. There's perhaps a reason why, so many communities outside of like two subreddits, r/Epsteiny and r/H3H3, have not had that same has not yielded that same result. There was also just like numerous, as far as I understand, he made statements about numerous things that are just objectively false. Genuine question, do you hold any animosity towards the crew? No, of course not. I do not. I get it. They need to make money. I understand. Are you a mod for r/YouTube drama? You think I'm a fucking Reddit mod? I don't even know how to fucking moderate my own subreddit. What are you talking about? That is a Ethan community talking point. At some point, people have to realize this is like unhinged. Okay? Like, there is a reason why you are engaging in these sorts of insane conspiracies, because the reality does not match the expectations. Okay? So you just like lose your shit and make increasingly crazier accusations.
Is famously really great at relationships, so I'm sure these children really appreciated his sage words of wisdom.
But if there's one thing that nobody would ever say about Destiny, is that he makes good personal life dating decisions.
Destiny also says that he thinks he would give better relationship advice than a child's retarded parents, and that he would give a child sex advice even if this would upset the child's parents. Who cares if parents don't want you to talk to their kids about sex? Destiny understands your kids better than you do. Destiny, you're a rule utilitarian, right? You believe that we should establish moral rules based on what generally leads to the least amount of harm. But you don't think that it would be good to establish a general rule that it's not safe for 31-year-olds like Drake to be texting 14-year-olds like Millie Bobby Brown about their relationships? Of course, there can be hypothetical situations where this isn't harmful and the adult actually does have good intentions, but in general, I don't think it's safe for children to be having these sorts of private conversations with adults. And I think it is totally reasonable to side-eye Drake for having these sorts of conversations with Millie Bobby Brown, especially because he kissed a child on stage.
How old are you? I can't go to jail yet, man. 17? Why do you look like that?
Now, is Drake a pedophile? Well, like I said, he kissed a child on stage, but Destiny would probably explain that this child was post-pubescent, not prepubescent, and kissing one child doesn't prove that he has a primary attraction to children, so therefore, we don't have enough evidence to label Drake a pedophile. Oh god, can you see how exhausting this is? Some people actually enjoy to listen to this shit day in and day out on Destiny's stream. Maybe Destiny just really wants to show Drake good faith because Drake has dropped so many bangers over the years. Or maybe he's defending Drake because he sees himself in Drake because of his own personal relationships with young people. Enter Rose is Coming, Destiny's 19-year-old e-girl Discord kitten. A couple years ago, Destiny was simultaneously married to a woman named Melina while having an affair on Melina with a white nationalist woman named Lauren Southern and sexting this 19-year-old e-girl named Rose is Coming on the side. Destiny was in an open marriage with Melina, but he still managed to have an affair with Melina because he didn't tell her about his relationship with Lauren Southern. And he also violated his wife's consent by sending her sex tapes to this 19-year-old e-girl without asking her.
Nothing has happened with consent.
I guess having an open relationship just wasn't enough for Destiny. Even though he was already free to sleep with other people, he still had to figure out some way to fuck over his wife. Anyway, while Destiny was sexting this 19-year-old, he asked her if she wanted to do age play, which is where you role play as being even younger. She was already 15 years younger than him, but you know, why not add on another 5 or 10 years for good measure? According to Destiny himself, he views sexting 19-year-olds as the same as sexting 15-year-olds.
When you're 19, you're a little kid, okay? Now, if you're 22, a 19-year-old's not a kid to you, okay? I'm 29. A 19-year-old might as well be a 15-year-old to me. It's all the fucking same, dude. Don't give me this fucking, just because of some legal age of consent, whatever bullshit, I have about as much in common with like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old fucking freshman in school as I would a fucking sophomore in high school. Any type of inclination towards any of those people is really fucking weird. If you live with your mom and dad still pay all of your bills, you're still a virgin, you've never been in a relationship, you don't go to school, you've never even had a job before, you've never lived on your own, you're a child. You're very much a child.
So Destiny views 19-year-olds as little kids.
You're a little kid.
And says that being attracted to them is really fucking weird.
Really fucking weird.
Yet here he is, 5 years later, at age 34, sexting this 19-year-old, asking her if she wants to do age play.
What is this? What do you think about Frogan getting mad at donating 10K for Palestine Children's Relief Fund since he didn't make stream do it too? What? I don't understand how publicly donating 10K and encourages followers to also donate that in the wrong. I just don't expect that. Yeah, I don't care. Old drama. I don't give a shit.
Play with him and
Frogan apologized? Okay. You're bringing in something. I didn't even know that. You're bringing in something that a person has apologized for a fucking year ago, dude. You good? Talking about Ludwig old drama. Why are we rehashing shit that happened a year ago? Possibly because their favorite content creator is currently getting fucking exposed for being a horrifying little sex pest that he is. And that's precisely the reason. I suspect that is the reason why people are coming in to just be like, hey, just stop watching the video, I think. Or maybe it's in the content nuke. Oh, okay. The content nuke.
Non-consensual sex tapes of his friends and wife. And honestly, it doesn't even matter what my opinion is of this. In Destiny's own words, he thinks this is really fucking weird.
Really fucking weird.
So, is Destiny a pedophile? I don't really give a fuck what you label him. I choose to label him a freak. Only freaks engage in the type of degenerate behavior that Destiny has engaged in. I don't give a fuck about semantic debates about the technical clinical definition of
Anti-Hassan lurkers. Holy fucking reach. Boa chatters reaching far as fuck. Literally grasping at straws. Anti-Hassan lurkers, please stop cooking my streamer. I beg of you. Yeah. This is the funniest kind of weird play that these guys get into. What do you mean? Please stop cooking my... Oh, you're talking about Destiny. I thought you were saying that, like... Oh my God, dude. Stop fucking posting. Stop posting like a fucking weirdo, please.
pedophilia. If you send pictures of a 15-year-old in a bikini to your friends,
even if you literally agree with me, stop posting like a weirdo. Oh my God.
Talk about how hot they are, you are a freak. Let's finish out the video by talking about Destiny's treatment towards women in more recent years. A little while ago, Destiny admitted that he was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife.
This is probably just going to be Melina venting about her relationship with me to Bob. Listen, okay? I've said it a million times. I'm a very fucking hard person to date. I work a fuck ton, and I'm very fucking cold. I have a really hard time dealing with people when they get emotional, okay? But if Melina starts crying or we're having an argument, I'll say, like, listen, I'm gonna go play fucking Minecraft. Like, come talk to me when you're done crying, because I can't sit here and listen to you cry. I'm wasting the few fucking minutes of free time I have in the day. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you cry doing it. Like, so anybody that survives a relationship with me for more than like 6 months, okay, props to that person, because they're going through some severe fucking psychological abuse, all right? It's a fucking hard thing to deal with. I'm not joking.
Maybe Destiny's fans would claim that he was being hyperbolic here, and he wasn't actually admitting to being abusive, but here's his best friend Dan also saying that Destiny was really shitty towards his ex-wife.
I'll say this also. I think Steven was a fucking really shitty husband to Melina, okay? I'm coming out here saying it right now. I don't think Steve would deny it either, but it's not good the way that he was. Like, I talked with Melina a lot of times, and she was crying and miserable and everything else, and Steve would say, what do you want me to say? I'm a selfish motherfucker. That's why I'm in the relationship that I'm in, the way that I do things that I'm in. And Melina, like, really was hurt by it. And I think, like, she was like, you know, what should I do? Should I leave? And I'll tell you this, I never was like, I was never like, no, you should stay and make things out. I told her multiple times, like, listen, if you feel like this is an abusive relationship, get the fuck out of there immediately.
Melina herself has also accused Destiny of being psychologically abusive towards her.
I'm irritated by a couple things. One thing I'm irritated about is that my ex-wife has reached out to a ton of people. At least 5 mutual friends have alerted me. I have no idea how many other are affected. Basically saying that I've lied about a ton of stuff and that I am abusive.
So Destiny has said that he was psychologically abusive towards Melina. Melina has said that Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. And Destiny's best friend Dan also seems to think that Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. I wonder if maybe Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. Destiny seems to think that as long as he's like, yep, I'm an abuser, deal with it.
Because they're going through some severe fucking psychological abuse, all right? It's a fucking hard thing to deal with. I'm not joking.
That he can just move on from this and sweep it under the rug, but I don't believe he should be allowed to do this. And I don't understand why any woman would ever want to associate with Destiny after seeing shit like this. Destiny not only has a history of allegedly being abusive himself, he also has a history of surrounding himself with other abusive men. Years ago, the streamer Vosh was exposed by Destiny for sexually harassing a woman named Poppy.
Yeah, so the problem is that we've gotten these complaints for like I think about a year, where like you've been like really sexually aggressive from a variety of people. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, the worst thing is that you engage in a repeatable pattern of behavior where you try to be very sexually aggressive towards a lot of the women in chat in order to make them uncomfortable enough to send you pictures, and then if they don't, you either act very aggressive towards them, like by telling them that you can't continue conversations anymore, or you continue to sexually harass them until they either give in or block you or go crazy or whatever.
It hasn't, I mean, none of this has happened. That's an extrapolation that you can make based on Poppy.
But even after Destiny found out that Vosh had sexually harassed her, he still decided to be friends with him and platform him and help him start his career. And now, years later, because of Destiny's actions, all of us have had to endure learning about Vosh's horse fetish and his short stack goblin porn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look into it.
This is It's interesting because like Ethan made long, comprehensive, and voluminous content out of this particular subject matter, which, you know, it hits the field of drama and gross pervertry, make no mistake. And yet, I think he's offered what, a approximate total of 5 to 10 minutes on sex pestiny, while simultaneously spending 6+ months talking about how much of a terrorism lover I am, including playing games made by sex pestini's community that, you know, compare me to Osama bin Laden and numerous other Muslim and Arab content creators, to other terrorists. And then did an entire Nuke rehashing all of those same talking points that was 2 hours long. Also tried to get me deplatformed actively, and went after the platform itself, demanding an apocalypse take place, which was, again, sex pestini's community that was directing those attacks, which was uncovered by Bloomberg, written extensively on. He even said I was doing victory laps when talking about sex pestiny. I mean, he was closer to this. He was friends with you at one point. Yeah. It's just, if you don't have any mechanism of comprehension that, like, in the field, in the scheme of things, like, what is a worse circumstance? I would say political disagreements over political commentators' approach to Israel-Palestine would probably be lower than both accidentally exposing yourself for being a consumer of AI-made child porn, or doing literal fucking out and about sex crimes, which is in an entirely separate category of its own. If you think that, like, the disagreements with former podcast co-host that you take so personally that you just kind of cast aside your entire career and alienate half of your fucking fan base over with the hopes that you can pick up, like, Keemstar Orbiter fans once again, I would say that that is lower on the totem pole, very low priority. But what do I know?
An example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Later on, after Destiny's relationship with Vosh fell apart, Destiny decided to become friends with a rapist named Mr. Girl. And Mr. Girl is not allegedly a rapist, he is a rapist. He posted a video openly admitting to raping a woman.
A couple years ago, I matched with a woman on Tinder. I say woman because she was 46. Anyway, we got frozen yogurt. She came over, we got naked, I got naked, then we both got naked. We started making out. Sex kind of makes me anxious, so I don't like a ton of foreplay. To me, it should.
What is going on? There is quite literally an endless well of depravity. Ethan fucked up, yo. Why'd you ban that guy? He wasn't saying Ethan fucked me up. He just said Ethan fucked up, yo. Well, to be fair, he presents that as anti-Semitism, which would make it more valid, even if it really isn't about anti-Semitism. Yeah, it's not anti-Semitism to disagree with your former podcast co-host. Oh, he did say you? Oh, my bad. Anyway. Keep talking about Ethan. It sounds like you're actually worried. Yes, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm cowering. Can't you tell? What happened? I thought that this was going to be a massive indictment. That everyone was going to be like, wow, I had no idea that Hasan is not exactly fond of liberals, because sometimes liberals spend most of the conversation surrounding genocide about their own fucking personal feelings. You know? Probably the most damning indication, the most damning thing that you can say or do in terms of liberalism. He thought it would get you banned? Yeah. I mean, he's been actively trying to get me banned for months now. What happened to all those fucking bottom feeders who used to hate Ethan Klein, but now that Ethan Klein is against me, they all love Ethan Klein? Those guys used to at least have like one consistent principle, which is, you know, don't go after people's sponsors. I don't have any fucking sponsors, so they try to literally take down the entire platform. Cool stuff, man. Ruining the fucking financial security of thousands of content creators so carelessly, you know? None of these guys have any sort of real fucking values or principles. You know? Yeah. The real threat to America is not Donald Trump and you know, fascism. It's a Twitch streamer who disagrees with me in communism. Watching the Nuke is very clear that it was intended to be a collab with Destiny and Dan on pushing the Twitch advertiser effort. After the Sex Destiny leaks, it is very clear he had to edit it down and it makes no sense. It's really sad. Really, really sad for Ethan that happened, you know? Kind of cooked his whole thing, which is probably the reason why he had to push it back over and over again. Yeah. Plato 1507. Thank you for the 50 big ones. All right, let's get back to this video, which is
be like
insane.
tearing off a band-aid, right? I'm trying to be patient. Finally, I get her on top of me. I put my dick in place, like right at her vagina, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. She holds perfectly still and says, I'm not ready. Clear as day, no mistaking her meaning. She doesn't consent. But she has this look in her eye, like she's daring me to just push it in. Like I'm some kind of pussy if I don't. I could have been imagining that, but I grabbed her shoulders and pushed her down onto my dick.
I fucked her.
Did she like that I did that? I think so. She probably had mixed feelings about it. Was it rape? Yes, I guess. I don't know. She told me not to, and I did it anyway. That makes it rape.
I don't know what went through Mr. Girl's head that he thought it was a good idea to openly admit to raping someone.
Dude, I think we gotta. All right, I'm done. I think we just gotta shut it down. We gotta shut down the entire operation. No more podcasts. No more YouTube. None of this shit. Okay? None of this fucking shit. None of it. We're done. Shut it off. Hit the fucking reset button on the internet. Okay? I'm not just talking about YouTube. I'm not just talking about Twitch or Twitter. I'm talking the internet. Okay? We do not know how to deal with the internet. Okay? We need to shut it off. We need to never talk about it again. We need to do the Butlerian jihad, but on the internet alone. Okay? Nah, too far, man.
On the internet, but that's Mr. Girl for you. Mr. Girl is most well known for his review of the movie Cuties, where he said that he found the 10-year-old girls in that movie hot.
And it juxtaposes these amazing scenes where it's like you'll see the girls playing on a bed where they're stuffing gummy bears in their mouths and they're just totally children. And then you'll see them shaking their booties on this stairway as they make this this viral video. And they're pretty hot.
10 years old is 5 years too young for Destiny's taste, but he decided to become friends with Mr. Girl anyway. Mr. Girl also released a bunch of videos where he was like emotionally abusing his girlfriend on camera. After they had been friends for a while, Destiny and Mr. Girl got in.
What is going on, dude? What the fuck is happening? Why do these people exist? Why do they do these things? How do you find that out about a person who voluntarily reveals this information and you go, oh, that's the guy I want to be fucking homies with? Replace the entirety of the internet with Chinese educational content? Dude, I want the Great Chinese Firewall. Wow, that is gross as fuck, dude.
And some drama because Destiny had banned Mr. Girl from Destiny's subreddit because Mr. Girl was criticizing Destiny for the way that he had defended Nick Fuentes. And then if you
wait, what the fuck? Okay, one consistent thing I will say about the Sex Pestiny cult, okay? One consistent thing I will say about it is that this man will align himself with literally every different cretin on the internet, okay? Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, white nationalists, pedophiles, sometimes pedophile neo-Nazis like Sam Hyde. Why not both? And usually the only way that he breaks off from them is if he feels like they have wronged him individually. It is never about their worldview, their actions, no matter how harmful they might be. Especially if he wants to fuck them, he will literally, permanently defend those people. It is kind of shocking how many of these sorts of people Sex Pestiny has collaborated with, and he inevitably ends up, quote unquote, burning those bridges, right? As his fan base likes to call it. But it seems as though it is never due to, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there are instances where he's like had ideological differences or whatever, but it's almost always about like a personal slight. Okay? Oh, you embarrassed me. Oh, you disagree with me on something vehemently. And that is the only way he breaks off from these people. And there are instances, as this chatter is also pointing out to, like when he said he would have even defended Vosh for the lolly shit if he had not pissed him off. Okay? Like, that's it. Like, he openly, after the Vosh lolly stuff came out, he straight up was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about any of this. I would have defended Vosh if only he hadn't fucking come after me so hard and fucked me over. He's talked about Nick Fuentes and said, I've defended Nick Fuentes. I gave him a career. I gave his phone number to Adam22 and numerous other podcasters, and he dare defy me. Okay? Like, that's what he said. That's what he fucking said. Ethan broke off from you because of your worldview. Yeah, it is true. That wasn't on my end, by the way, okay? There was no point in which I was like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm burning this bridge. I consistently offered him grace over and over again. How is this my doing at all? Yeah, I'm sorry that I think that making an ongoing genocide all about your own personal feelings is kind of fucking insane. And it does make me think a little bit less of you. If Big Joel gets exposed, I'm turning all right. No, he won't. He lives in a fucking lighthouse by himself with his fisherman's sweaters.
Few months after this, Mr. Girl released a
It's crazy how you were talking so much shit from your own audience defending Ethan, and he still has a piss fit over it. Yeah, for like an entire year, I just told my chat, calm the fuck down. Ethan is not your enemy. Pick better targets. Pick better targets. And he slowly but surely went after every single content creator in my orbit, okay, in my vicinity, content creators that are around me, not orbiters, okay, just peers of mine that are smaller content creators than myself. And then slowly but surely he turned the crosshairs on me and fucking lost his goddamn mind, dude. I mean, he went after fucking Caroline. It's crazy. And it's wild because, like, he kept saying, like, oh, you're not moderating your community. You're not moderating your community. And one of those, honest question, do you regret offering so much grace? Fuck no. I will always operate that way, okay? I'm telling you right now, expect that from me. It does not matter. This is what I have done consistently for every single person. This is something that a lot of people get mad at me over as well. A lot of people in my community are always like, oh, why are you so nice? Why are you so nice to content creators? It's because you know them. It's because they're rich. It's because they're your friends, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, that's just how I am, okay? You might not like it. You might not appreciate it. But I will always maintain hope that a person can be talked down the ledge, okay? Talked off of a ledge. That's it. It's a principle that I maintain. It is precisely the reason why I think I've been effective in changing people's minds in general in this community. And if I did not maintain that level of charitability and try to advocate for rehabilitation, I would not have so many wonderful people who've had their minds changed over these years. Okay? So I will extend that, especially to someone that I know personally. Okay? Always. There's obviously a limit to that charitability, and, that limit has far passed when you engage in a censorious campaign to try to get me fucking banned and attack all of these other content creators who are much smaller and to limited success. You actually end up silencing and suppressing pro-Palestinian voices. It's just like ridiculous. It's completely unacceptable. Anyway.
A report called the Destiny Report, where he outlined all of the ways that he believes Destiny is an abuser. Most people ignored this report because they didn't really care to listen to a potential abusive pedophile rapist give his opinions on why he thinks Destiny is abusive. The report was also over 100,000 words long, and it was terribly formatted, and honestly, no one had time to read all that shit. And while I personally think that Mr. Girl is a disgusting weirdo, I do think he made a couple decent points in his report. Mr. Girl's main perspective is that he believes Destiny has a pattern of being abusive towards the women in his orbit. And now that we've seen evidence that Destiny has been sharing sex tapes of his orbiters and his ex-wife behind their back without their consent, I think this adds some credence to the idea that there might be a pattern of abuse happening here. In my opinion, Destiny kind of reminds me of the character of Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if Dennis was shorter and scrawnier and more annoying.
I didn't know I was being filmed. If you're in my room, you're always being filmed.
You are.
He does.
True.
He does.
It's just
Always
thing. It's kind of creepy.
In case you haven't seen the show, the character Dennis is known for being a psychopath who's incredibly good at manipulating women.
Oh, look, I'm not narcissistic. That's good. I told you guys I was humble. We're a bit Machiavellian, a bit not psychotic. Psychopath, a bit psychopathic. That's what I'm looking for.
The most famous clip of Dennis is where he explains that if you take a woman out on a boat with you, she won't say no to having sex with you because of the implication.
The whole purpose of buying the boat in the first place was to get the ladies nice and tipsy topside so we can take them to a nice, comfortable place below deck and, you know, they can't refuse because of the implication.
Oh, okay. You had me going there for the first part. The second half kind of threw me.
Well, dude, think about it. She's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. You know, she looks around her. What does she see? Nothing but open ocean. There's nowhere for me to run. What am I going to do? Say no?
Okay, that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not going to say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Well, in 2020, Destiny explains that he doesn't think it would be good for someone who has a large online platform to be sexting the women who he has as guests on his show because of the implication.
Let's say that I run like a really big podcast. I get 30,000 viewers. Let's say that I have a podcast. I got 30,000 viewers. Let's say that there's a girl that messages me. We talk for a little bit. And she really...
This motherfucker has talked about so much that he literally has, I feel like, advocated and argued vociferously against the current thing that he's doing.
Really wants to be on. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, you really want to come on a podcast, blah, blah, blah. I could probably start sexting her and she'll probably give in and send me nudes and shit because she doesn't want to lose that opportunity. She might not actually want to. She might not be into it really at all. But if I start propositioning her, if she says no to me, she might worry like, fuck, like if I say no to this guy, like I'm not going to make it on that podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then are you wrong for asking in that case? Even though you saw it?
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
However, as we now know, Destiny has a long history of doing this exact thing to the women who are guests on his show.
I don't like the idea that we're normalizing, you know, someone bringing in a bunch of small content creators that are women, fucking them, right? And then when that fallout inevitably happens, like, just cast them away. Like, it's a really weird dynamic. I work with women, and I'm happy with the fact that it's professional. And that needs to be a standard that we set for more people, because I hate the idea that I just show up on screen with a woman, and it's automatically sex. But can I really be mad at an audience for thinking that when I hang out with Steven, who literally fucks pretty much everybody he works with?
It is possible that like you are like a very like mature person, and even if they turned you down, you're still cool with them being on your podcast. Like there are some people like that, but like not everybody, no one knows. That's the problem. Nobody can ever know that if you're actually that kind of person. That's why it's like a very hazy area where you can't really consent in that situation because you don't really know.
So on the one hand, he is saying that you shouldn't sext with women who are guests on your show because they can't fully consent, and on the other hand, he is sexting with most of the women who are guests on his show and sharing around their sex tapes without their consent. A woman named Lav came forward and said that she felt pressured to send Destiny feet pics in exchange for being a guest on his stream.
At least in my case, I was so desperate to get out of sex work, and I told him that, and he said, why don't you stream with me? This can open up an avenue where like you don't have to do what you hate to do. And I'm a political streamer. You can get into politics, like fully extending himself to me in a way that was like very friendly. And then it turned into something like, oh, right after that conversation, he was like, oh, by the way, I don't see any feet on your profile. He. Like immediately after.
Apparently, after she sent him feet pics, he said, welcome to the Orbiters Club, implying that sending her feet pics is what will give her the chance to be one of his orbiters. Now, Destiny claims that this was a completely ironic joke and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously whatsoever, but If Destiny himself has said that he shouldn't be sexting his orbiters because of the implication, and then he sexts his orbiters and then says, "Welcome to the Orbiter Club," I am struggling to see how this is a joke. And even if it was intended as a joke, like Destiny explained in this previous clip, you shouldn't be making jokes like this because the person on the receiving end might not understand that you're joking. It seems strange to me that Destiny had this.
Yeah, that person is also like not exactly the best. I will just say, I don't know if she's the most credible witness, considering that she also fucking randomly, due to Destiny's hatred over me, randomly decided to lie about me as well.
This incredibly nuanced view of consent a couple years ago,
and then openly admit in a Patreon post that she lied about me.
But then once he wanted to start sexting people, all of these rules that he set for himself went out the window.
Now, again, there are exceptions. Maybe you're friends with this person for 10 years or some shit, and you guys have like some, like, it could be like very niche. I don't want to say like every single time, but like as a blanket rule, if you even have to stop and think about this, you should just not do it. It's just a bad idea.
Later on, Lav accused Destiny of being the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube because she felt like Destiny had a pattern of manipulating the women in his orbit into doing sexual favors for him, and because she felt like it was emotionally abusive that every woman who came on Destiny's stream would inevitably be flooded with hate comments on his subreddit, which Destiny would refuse to take down. If you come onto Destiny's stream as a woman, you can be pretty safe to assume that you are going to get a bunch of hate comments on Destiny's subreddit. But according to Destiny's community, it's not because they hate women, it's just because these particular women all happen to be too stupid to debate their daddy Destiny. One time, Destiny's head moderator of his subreddit named Forethought sent one of his female orbiters the message, "Kelly Jean, stop pretending like you're hurt by sexism. Your greatest aspiration was being an esports victim. Holy fuck, no wonder you wish you got raped. You've got literally nothing going on to be doing this at 40. After seeing these messages, Destiny refused to remove Forethought as a moderator of his subreddit.
But the whole idea is that if there's no wrong way to treat Kelly Jean or whatever, if that's her mentality when it comes to her, who's to say that doesn't expand to other people?
But can we just, why is it okay to do whatever you want to Kelly Jean?
Oh yeah, you'd have to ask Destiny that.
I mean, it's Kelly Jean.
That's not that.
Yeah, but if you have that mentality, Destiny, then yeah, he's gonna copy it, isn't he?
I wonder why women don't always feel comfortable on Destiny's subreddit. At the time, Destiny and his community absolutely tore Lav to shreds because they didn't think that she had enough evidence to substantiate the claim that Destiny was the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. One time when Lav was in the hospital, Destiny sent to his public chat, like, "I wish this person would just kill themselves already or fuck off from my shit forever." Destiny even one time shared with his public chat that there was a Kiwi Farms thread being made about Lav. In case you don't know, Kiwi Farms is a message board that is famous for doxing and harassing people they don't like. So by sending Destiny's community to her Kiwi Farms page, Destiny was essentially doxing her. To be clear, I'm not trying to 100% defend Lav here. I think that some of the negative comments about her debating were accurate. I don't think she's a particularly good debater. I also don't think that she necessarily had enough evidence to back up the claim that Destiny is the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. Although these days I do think there is a lot more evidence pointing to that being the case. She also one time claimed that Hasan had slept.
I understand why you never want to talk about this dude. I feel so sad after hearing this shit. Yeah. I mean, they've been, he's been actively collaborating with the Kiwi Farms people, making my life and all of the other people that are friends of mine and their lives miserable too. So
these days, I do think there is a lot more evidence pointing to that being the case. She also one time claimed that Hasan had slept with a 17-year-old, which she didn't have any evidence to back up, and then Hasan ended up tearing her to shreds for that. And since then,
I didn't just tear her to shreds for that. Yeah, no, literally, she did. She did say that. That was the one time where Destiny was like, you shouldn't say that because you know that it is false. Okay? And then she turned around and openly admitted, I don't know where the Patreon post is. I'm sure it's someone probably still has it because I remember covering it on stream. Okay? She fucking turned around and literally admitted that she lied about it. What an insane fucking thing to lie about, dude. What a psychotic thing to lie about. That was the reason why many people, even in the Destiny community and many people like outside, even like the, what's the name of the guy, the potato fucking Keemstar orbiter? Donofrio. That guy, even like they all hate him. Nick Oreo. Mr. Oreo. Nick Oreo. I used to judge you in a bad way, but every day it seems like I was wrong and I'm sorry. It's all good. You know. Pressured to say that she lied. Are you fucking insane? She just lied about it again last week. Same lie. Yeah, she just constantly goes back and forth on it. I don't know what's wrong with this person. I genuinely don't know. I think she's just like deeply, deeply, deeply mentally unwell. Yeah, this is it. I will not be streaming anymore, effective immediately. And it came out of fucking nowhere. Like she just... It just came out of nowhere where she said that we straight hundreds whatever. Another thing that made me feel strange was when I begged Steven to do as little as I tell him community go easier on me. He deletes some of his fans' criticisms of me on the Reddit. Steven was sexting. Like, I mean, she's just not well. Okay. What the fuck? Where is it? Control F Hasan. Like apparently they randomly would talk about me. Yeah. Out of nowhere. Lastly, he'd brought up the secret I told him out of nowhere, so I had to play in the conversation. The secret I told him when he told me a secret. Told me he'd ruin me, how bad I'd look. He worked in it. I'm not going to be blackmailed. Hasan Parker slept with my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal. But he's denounced men publicly for doing much less. Ridiculous. Okay? All of this is ridiculous. I don't care about it. And she's never going to come forward, but the fact exists nonetheless. An example of hypocrisy. Another person's hypocrisy is gold to a streamer. A shiny weapon. I was armed. Nothing will come of it. Ethically, it was a small infraction, and it won't be held over my head. She literally fucking openly admits that she just straight up lied. Why do these people despise you so much? This person, I don't even know why. She edited it while you were reading it, I remember, I think. It was so strange, dude. Just an absolute sociopath. Anyway, I hope, once again, I hope she gets the help that she needs. Okay? You left her on red on Instagram and that was your only infraction prior? Yeah. I found out, I didn't know who the fuck this person was, and then I found out that like I had just not responded to a DM of hers. I can't comprehend working in a field with this many psychos. I don't know how you do it. I think one of the key points to make here is that Destiny preys on people who are mentally unwell for sex. I mean, yeah, for sure.
That she has become a TERF who says a bunch of racist and transphobic shit on Twitter. However, I do still think that the treatment she endured from Destiny's community was insane. Being a bad person does not disqualify you from being abused. And if a woman feels like she's being abused by you and your community, I don't think a good way to prove that you're actually not abusive is by telling her to kill herself and doxing her. Destiny's community wrote off Lav as mentally unstable and insane, and because both her and Mr. Girl were wide widely hated by most people on the internet, most people ignored their allegations that Destiny was abusive. Destiny has a long history of bringing mentally ill women onto his stream, to the point where it's a meme in his community that all of the women on Destiny's stream have BPD. Destiny himself has said that he's most attracted to women who he considers mentally unstable.
This dude really has a penchant for going after mentally ill women, okay? Women with like severe depression, and a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me, the fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls is a bit weird.
But the question is, does Destiny just happen to attract a bunch of mentally unstable women to his stream, or does he purposefully attract mentally unstable women because he knows they are more easy to abuse? Another mentally ill woman that Destiny had a long conflict with was a woman named Anna. Just like with Lav, Destiny also encouraged his community to go to Anna's Kiwi Farms thread, and he encouraged them to post in her thread.
Oh, okay. Also, heads up. This is my only non-media blackout time, okay? This is my only non-media blackout time. I will immediately go back to this, okay? Somebody on Kiwi Farms has made a thread of Anna. So if you are obsessed with Anna and you want to talk about her all the time, you, chatter, you can actually go to Kiwi Farms and you can go and post all you want, read all you want. Go there, post about it, talk about it. People put a lot of effort into categorizing and archiving everything. There you go, okay?
And in the thread about Anna that Destiny encouraged his fans...
That's insane that he's using the doxing subreddit as his own personal fucking, like, as his own personal weapon, dude. And I assume they hate him on there, too. They just hate everybody. But it is crazy to just, like, encourage that shit with your, again, sycophantic cult fan base.
...to go message, they doxed Anna. And it was later revealed that at this time, Destiny was secretly in an ongoing sexual relationship with Anna.
So you acknowledge that you've been sexting with her for a year?
Yeah, we've had on and off, sure.
In response to this, Anna texted Destiny, "You literally ruined my fucking life. You just doxed me on your stream. Fuck you. You put me in danger." And Destiny responded to this by saying, "You're doing it to yourself and you're going to keep doing it to yourself." This is one of the most insane things I have ever seen in my entire life. Choosing to dox a woman you are actively sexting with just because she pissed you off. I guess if you want to live life by Destiny's rules, if your wife or girlfriend or friends with benefits ever pisses you off, why not just dox her to hundreds of thousands of people? I also want to be clear that I'm not defending Anna. Anna also has a long history of harassing Steven, which is obviously not good. But Destiny also treated Anna like garbage.
Oh my God.
He not only doxed her, but he also threatened to leak her nudes when she threatened to leak sext messages between the two of them to prove that Destiny had been lying about her.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to that?
I think it's about proportional, yeah. Thanks.
You don't think that she has more to lose in that scenario? Like, you think that people were going...
Why does everyone suck in this video? I think you guys now understand why I stay away from like this community and have consistently stayed away from this community actively and have tried to shelter you from this shit, even though there are still a bunch of weird little drama perverts in here. You know who you are. Many of you long-term community members that do actively go in there and like pick all this shit apart because you love watching this fucking insanity. But this is the reason why I have tried to cordon off this part of the internet, because it is insane. It is genuinely an endless well of depravity. And that's the only reason why I went back on my initial, I will never cover this, I will never openly talk about this mentality. The only reason why I got into that was because of the Israel stuff. It's a truly depraved, morally repugnant shit. It's also interesting because their number one thing that they have held over my head for years is the fact that I bought a house for myself and my family and have been able to actively bring in a large number of random people who also go along with the, yeah, that is actually inconsistent with being socialist. Like, that's what's so crazy about it. It's like this dude is just like doing fucking sex crimes galore over here. And unironically, he has poisoned the well so fucking hard in his community that his fan base literally straight up think that I am a vicious villain. And depending on who he's collaborating with, I've seen people say that Nick Fuentes is a significantly better figure and less dangerous than someone like myself. Like, these are legitimately things that they actually believe, this community of insane cultists. You're very materialistic though, bro. Designer goods isn't very critiquing capitalism. Okay, I love capitalism. What of it? Someone's fucking purchases, which are totally within my means, especially, is not a fucking critique of capitalism, okay? I'm not a goddamn saint. And if you think that this is the biggest fucking argument you have against someone like myself that you think undermines my entire worldview, you are a pathetically unserious person. You understand that? That's like, this is not a real point of contention, chatter. I don't know how you will ever comprehend that. I don't think you'll ever be able to comprehend that, as a matter of fact. All right? Jesus Christ. Bro, just don't wear Yoji and Lemaire. Like, stop having drip, bro. I will never stop having drip. Okay? I will always keep having drip. Another example of this is how the Pirate software was ostracized for a video game while D's barely covered in subreddits for his sex crimes. That's what I mean. Like, consistently and routinely engage in this sort of behavior. And obviously, like, in a lot of circumstances, like, people are just, genuinely afraid of dealing with it or saying anything about it because they just don't want to get fucking endlessly harassed. And it's wild that on the internet, you can be geared into getting mad about even perceived hypocrisy when no such hypocrisy exists, more so than actual fucking sex crimes and shit. It's crazy. Like, think exactly. The chatter did it, literally did it. Chatter is watching a video about someone committing sex crimes, but you're the one to critique because you buy designer. Okay? And it's never like an actual person who is a socialist or even remotely cares about it. It is almost always people who are like, I despise socialists. They should be Pinochet style dealt with by being tossed out of a helicopter. Also, socialist, by the way. Designer drip, by the way. You know what I mean? It's fucking deranged. I think it's important to reiterate that his community has a segment called Rape Review where they train themselves to defend actual rapes. They know they just don't care at best, or they're just creepy at worst. Yeah. Or maybe he was just like gearing them up to fucking defend them down the line, you know?
I mean, you could have more to lose, but I just don't see the huge difference between like sex and nudes. Like, you're leaking like personal, like sexual shit that somebody sent you and like trusted you with. Like, in my opinion, this is like one of the biggest forms of like weird, like backstabbing shit that you can do. It's like one of the worst things a person can do is like leaking like private sexual shit like that.
I love you, Tom.
So Anna had stalked and harassed Destiny, and Destiny had lied about Anna and threatened to leak her nudes and sent his fans to a website that doxed her. This is a situation where they were both clearly in the wrong, but I think this situation sent a message to Destiny's previous sexual partners that if you get onto Destiny's bad side, he will not be afraid to threaten to leak your nudes and send his fans to a website that doxes you. Looking back at Destiny's streams from over the years, I found at least 20 different women who had allegedly had some sort of sexual relationship with Destiny at some point, and I found at least 15 different previous female orbiters who now all hate Destiny's guts, and Destiny now labels them as crazy. The fact that Destiny has had sex with a bunch of his orbiters and now a bunch of them hate him doesn't necessarily prove abuse. But what I do know is that Destiny is not living by the standard he expects other people to live by. Again, he said himself that you should not sext people who are guests on your platform because they might not be able to fully consent because of the implication.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And at the very least, he has totally and utterly failed at living up to this standard of conduct that he expects other people to live by. I think we would need more evidence to concretely prove that Destiny's stream really is this system of abuse. But all I know is that there are at least 4 alleged victims and a whole host of other women who absolutely hate Destiny's guts, so I would recommend that women should stay as far away from Destiny's community as possible.
If you know that the people you're going to be involved with are only short-term partners, and you constantly see the after effect of most of your hookups and your interactions leaving a trail of broken hearts and disappointed people, that's a moral failing.
All right, let's recap all of Destiny's treatment towards women. Destiny sexually assaulted a woman. Destiny has a long history of sharing women's nudes and sex tapes without their consent. Destiny allegedly recorded a woman having sex with him without her consent. And in his messages to his Discord kitten Roses Coming, he sent her audio recordings of men that he had slept with from Grindr and said, "I went out and sucked a guy off a few nights ago and recorded the audio. It's really scuffed in my pocket, LOL. Did I ever send it to
Bro, this person is still on it. Look. Look. Dude, Ethan Klein fans. I'm serious. Please, you're making him look worse by being like this, okay? Longtime fan, please just respond to the claims and hear out your friend. Watch the video. Why are you not watching the video? Will you watch with him? Are you not a millionaire? F the rich. I'm an RN. Hassan, as a fan, can you explain your political stances? Are you left-leaning? Are you going to interview Monkey D. Luffy again? Yeah, maybe you should interview ISIS, then become one. There's a really good video. Maybe you should watch. I think you should have the link, but you might have lost it. You got timed out, and you came back from the timeout. I follow you with my Amazon Prime probably back in 2021, months before leftovers. I'm sure your mods can double-check that. I need you to just let your OG followers know that you are not the man Ethan Klein thinks you are. You are someone I look up to. Why did you burn Teddy Fresh? Donate. Sorry, not burn. Wait, do you pay prostitutes? That's what I'm getting from video. No sub on the account whatsoever. Followed in November 16, 2023. I know I unbanned that person. Yeah, I donated my own merchandise. I donated Maya's merchandise. I donated all of my other friends, Carl Jacobs' merchandise. I don't hate any of these people. Also, it's crazy. You're like, I look up to you. And then you simultaneously say, I should interview ISIS and then join ISIS. Why are you looking up to me if you think I should, like, if you think I have the capacity to join ISIS? What is going on, man? Have some fucking self-respect.
If he was recording the audio from his pocket, it sure doesn't sound like that audio was recorded consensually, does it? Maybe he did ask if he could record him, but then he put the phone back in his pocket where the audio would sound terrible for some reason, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that. And if he was recording men from Grindr without their knowledge, it's also very easy to believe that he was recording Cherry without her knowledge. He has a history of calling 15-year-olds attractive and sharing pictures of them in bikinis. He has a long history of getting very mad at women when they post about their sexual assaults on social media. He has allegedly abused at least one of his female orbiters and was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife. And he also admitted to choking out another one of his exes multiple times. However, he claims that this was done in self-defense.
Because you better fucking believe I had to fucking choke her out a few fucking times.
Finally, Destiny has a history of doxing and threatening to leak the nudes of women that get on his bad side. I find this incredibly incredibly ironic because in his Keffels manifesto, he says that progressives believe there's no such thing as bad tactics, only bad targets.
And what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets?
Well, if you ask me, doxing women and threatening to leak their nudes is the definition of bad tactics that you should not be doing even if you think that woman is a valid target. If you add up all of these allegations, I think it's time to consider that maybe Destiny is just not a good fucking person. Maybe he's your typical male feminist and all of the liberal bullshit that he spews on his platform is just him trying to get into women's pants. Before it had been publicly exposed that Destiny had shared Pixie's sex tapes without her consent, in private he acknowledged that he had severely, at the very least psychologically, damaged her. But once Pixie came out with her allegations publicly and announced that she was planning to sue Destiny, he went back to his old defensive ways and took accountability for nothing. He posted to his subreddit, "Legal arc beginning in mysterious ways, such wow," which is the most millennial cringe way possible to respond to allegations of sex crimes. In this post, he never takes direct accountability for sharing Pixie's sex tapes with Rose Is Coming without her consent, and instead he focuses on how he's a victim too because his nudes were also leaked by the hacker that apparently hacked Rose Is Coming. Obviously, Destiny is also a victim in this situation, but I struggle to find empathy for him because he refuses to take accountability for sharing the sex tapes non-consensually in the first place, which led to this entire mess. He also talks about how Pixie was asking him for a large amount of money because she was trying to teach him a lesson, and I don't necessarily see anything wrong with her wanting to teach Destiny a lesson. Maybe he needs to be taught a lesson. Pixie made the point that
like it's very clear that for a very long time, Destiny has never actually had even a crumb of accountability, which is why over the course of the past 15 years, he has just like repeatedly done this kind of stuff. And as his platform has grown, he's had more opportunity to increase the amount of victims in the process.
Unless there are some real consequences to Destiny for doing this, he'll probably just do it again in the future, which I agree with. Destiny later sent to his public chat, "Pixie and the people behind her just want money." Yet, this is a blatant lie because she made it abundantly clear to Steven that she would be willing to donate the money he gave her to charity. So, just like usual, Destiny is attempting to smear his victim in order to silence her, even though in my opinion, Pixie has done absolutely nothing wrong. And I think this shows incredible moral character on Pixie's part that she's even willing to donate this money to charity because I don't think she has any obligation to do this. But even with Pixie being basically the quote-unquote perfect victim, Destiny still decides to smear her. My favorite sentence from this post is when Destiny says, "I have been trying to move on from covering drama content as it has had an increasingly negative impact on those in my life." Bitch, you...
Let me guess, he probably fucking, I assume if he's back to making content, I suspect he had a fantastic time going over his own community's work on the Ethan Klein Nuke. I suspect that he didn't have a problem covering that kind of drama.
You loved covering drama content when
there is not a single instance where Destiny hasn't covered drama. When he talks about issues, when he talks about political issues, it's really interesting. His first approach almost always, for months, I remember, even after he said like he's pro-genocide, most of his coverage revolved around talking about me and Ethan, constantly trying to drive a wedge, okay? Constantly. Most of it was just straight up, Ryan mentioned you. What is this? Jesus Christ, this dude really thinks he has any place to watch a Hasan Nuke and criticize him right now with all the shit he's in. Then I'm going to highly recommend Hasan watches my Nuke about Destiny when he gets back to the US. Anyone in my audience that's friends with Hasan, I would appreciate if you can try to get my video to him. Fair is fair. I mean, I already did. Yeah, go like and subscribe to the channel.
when it was other people's heads on the chopping block, but now you want to stop covering drama once your head is on the chopping block. After this, Destiny sent some messages to his chat that were even more defensive. I have never done anything maliciously, as any of the fucking insane allegations say. That's fucking retarded. My only crime was being too much of a gooner in 2023 and earlier, 100% sure.
Just too much of a gooner.
And I can't say anything specifically because everyone wants to come at me in court now, I guess. When he says that he didn't do anything maliciously, I think he means that he didn't intend for Pixie's nudes to ever get leaked to the public. But I would argue that non-consensually sending her sex tapes in the first place was malicious in and of itself. And again, I think Destiny would agree with me that sharing the nudes in and of itself is malicious because he said that when Bob 7 allegedly did the same thing, this should be life-destroying.
But I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying revelations.
And you are not fucking stupid, Destiny. You know that if you're sending around sex tapes to random 19-year-old e-girls, eventually something is going to get leaked.
You know, actually, one of the craziest parts about this whole story is the fact that Destiny trusted a 19-year-old Discord lady, okay, named Rose is Coming, with sex tapes of other people in his life. Nigga. If that's not compromised judgment, I don't know what the fuck is, okay?
Also, your only crime is being too much of a gooner? Destiny's just a little bit of a goofy gooner. It's not like he committed any serious sex crimes. He's just a little gooner goblin. Look at my gooner goblin over there in the corner gooning. As usual, every single thing that Destiny says is an attempt to downplay, and refuse to take any fucking accountability. Then Destiny sent this to his chat. Bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking like 20 other streamers with me, okay? Lol W. Again, trying to deflect from taking responsibility by saying that a bunch of other streamers have done the same shit. If other streamers have done the same shit, then yeah, maybe they should be on the sex offender registry. Recently, another clip of Destiny resurfaced where he talked about how he knew that a bunch of different streamers had committed sex crimes against children, but he just didn't care to expose any of them.
Like, everybody's gotten pics and more from underage.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude. Like, that's just bad behavior. Why the fuck would you openly admit that you know that there are sex offenders in your orbit and you just are holding off on revealing this? That's crazy.
Chicks, depending on what you've heard in different communities. No, let me finish. In the esports community, okay, everybody has been involved in that shit, okay? And there have been people that have gone way farther than that.
Do you know people in the esports community?
I'm not going down that road. There's tons of rumors.
No, wait a minute. If you're saying you have knowledge of a crime and you're not willing to bring it forward.
Well, people talk about it, but like I don't have the means to go and acquire the evidence to like name names and name victims.
Break
and like find
Dorito Gate right now, Destiny. Come on.
Let's hear it, dude. This is not my job. Listen, okay, I'm gonna be frank. I'm not gonna suicide my fucking career to go on some fucking vendetta against a bunch of fucking video game guys, okay? This is not my life.
But now that his head is on the chopping block, I guess maybe he'll finally expose these abusers that he's been covering for years. And the last thing that Destiny has posted at the time of this recording was an absolutely hilarious meme on Twitter where he said, "Korean barbecue is a little overrated, but I've always loved the short rib at this place." And it's a picture of a Korean restaurant called Goon Barbecue. Again, implying that he's just too much of a gooner because gooner sounds a lot better than sex criminal. He is choosing to be his same old self, making jokes instead of taking accountability. This motherfucker has the absolute gall to release an entire manifesto about how Keffels needs to take accountability for her actions, but then once he's in shit, he takes absolutely no fucking accountability for his actions. Like, is this dude an actual fucking baby? Are you a child? In what fucking world is this the right way to respond to the fact that you violated one of your friends and, in your own words, severely psychologically damaged her? Never in a million years could I imagine being a soulless, heartless piece of shit like this who treats my best friends like actual human garbage. And for you to get up on your high horse and act like you're the moral police of the universe who has any place to judge other people while acting like this is fucking insane.
You know, with this whole situation, I don't think Steven shared this because he thought it was okay to share. I personally believe, this is my theory, that he shared this because he just didn't care and he didn't think that the other person would ever find out. And that to me is almost worse. Because it shows that you don't care about the people you slept with and who shared that intimate moment with you and recorded it. And it shows to me that if you are going to be able to avoid the consequences of it, you'll say and do things behind closed door that are just unbecoming. And if...
Okay. I don't know if this is ABBA or Preach, but I will admit something. Remember when I said earlier that, like, I think less of people sometimes when they consistently collaborate with Destiny? Okay. It's ABBA. Okay. I'm shocked. And I'm willing to admit that I definitely had... Oh, Destiny's former close friend ABBA. It's literally on the screen. I'm such an idiot. I will admit that ABBA is seemingly a much more thoughtful person than I previously pegged him as. Okay? And I think part of the reason why I felt the way that I did was because of the initial alignment that they had, both ABBA and Preach, with Destiny, and also their political perspectives. We have our political disagreements, I think, especially as it pertains to trans issues. But it seems like he is definitely a much more thoughtful person than I thought he was initially.
I'm your friend and I see you do that to your other people that you slept with and you call friends, then I can only imagine that even for me, I might not be safe and I can't trust you. And what
ABBA was the one that debated D over the Drake stuff, and after D said that weird shit about him talking to children about relationships, he came in to distance himself bit by bit. Oh.
I see is another more failing where it's like when no one's watching, you're not doing the right thing. You can massage it however you want. It's a shitty thing to share a sex tape, but it's not the worst thing.
What about your terrorist propaganda streams not being searchable on Google? What do you mean? If I'm doing terrorism propaganda, don't you think I'm doing it right now? Are you implying that my Twitch stream is not searchable on Google? How did you find it? Or do you... What's the claim here? That I have control over Google and I'm secretly hiding my own content? This is some real Q Hasan shit. Brilliant minds, dude.
I'm sorry. That's fucking...
What about your Houthi stream? What about my Houthi stream? You mean this one? Hold on. Let's see. Tim Houthi. Interviewing Yemeni Timothy Chalamet. You mean this stream? I'm trying to interview the... Look how easy it was to find it. Do I have to explain to you how to search something properly? Please call me immediately. Please call me. It's urgent. Oh, but he wasn't a Houthi. No, if you watch the interview, you'll find out that he was not. Irub, please call me. It's urgent.
Our behavior, okay? It just is. Call it a spade. It's garbage behavior. Don't mush it over because you like your favorite streamer. Don't mush it over because you think he's important politically. It's garbage behavior.
Right before uploading this video, another woman named Stasia just came out with allegations that Destiny shared explicit material of her without her consent. And a woman named Denims just came out with an allegation that Destiny had recorded her without her knowledge. This recording was non-sexual, but apparently it's illegal to record people without their knowledge in that state. Destiny Destiny chose to ignore Stasia's allegations for some reason, but in response to Denim's allegations, he sent messages to his public chat threatening to leak the recordings of her in an attempt to silence her, showing that he is still engaging in the exact same behavior as always. So now we have 4 different women who Destiny allegedly shared nudes of without their consent, 1 woman that Destiny sexually assaulted, 1 woman who felt pressured into sending Destiny feet pics, 1 woman who Destiny—
You're being stalked by L3LT's Reddit, just so you know that Kate individuals from there. I think ultimately the foot soldiers are not as vicious as the DDG community is. So it's okay. It's usually people like Kate who don't necessarily fully comprehend what they're advocating for. You know? Like they just don't, they can't even like put together a coherent political perspective. They don't really know what they're angry about. They're just kind of trying to be helpful to what they perceive as Ethan's cause. Nope, they're definitely losing their grip on reality, but they're ultimately toothless. Yeah.
allegedly recorded sexually without her knowledge, 2 men on Grindr who Destiny allegedly recorded sexually without their knowledge, and 1 woman who was recorded non-sexually without her knowledge, for a grand total of 10 different victims that we know of so far. And this is of course not including the 15-year-old girl that Destiny shared bikini pictures of, or the 8-year-old boy whose penis Destiny stared at. When will Destiny's community, DGG, wake the fuck up and realize that Destiny is just not a good person? I know that I said that I wouldn't focus on my personal beef with Destiny in this video, but I wanted to just point out one thing. I found it really funny that in his Vosh manifesto, he cries about how people online have attacked him for identifying as non-binary in the past.
Many have attacked me in the past for identifying as a non-binary. I no longer identify this way, even though I've considered different sexual or gender identities and discussed it at length at various points in my stream.
Destiny and his community have been harassing me for years about identifying as non-binary. He said that he doesn't think my identity is real, and he tweeted that I'm faking being trans for clout, and I've had a bunch of his fans come and make fun of me.
Yeah. Famously, you get so much fucking clout when you come out as trans. Like, famously. That's like the #1 way to get clout. Everybody's always doing it. What an insane statement, dude. This is just like 90s level homophobia.
Me anytime that I post about being non-binary, which made me feel like I had to go back into the closet at one point. But when people attack Destiny for being non-binary,
many have attacked me in the past for—
It's crazy because Destiny's community also actively will portray me as a transphobe, which is really funny. And, you know, I guess some people get duped by that too, but not really as much.
for identifying as a non-binary.
It really hurts his feelings. This is just another example of Destiny being a hypocritical little bitch who cries when people are mean to him and then turns around and does that exact same shit to other people. If you want to be an asshole to non-binary people, be an asshole to non-binary people. But then don't be a weaselly little bitch who turns around and cries when people are an asshole to you about being non-binary. Destiny is the perfect example of rules for thee, but not for me. He says Bob 7 should have his life destroyed for sharing nudes without consent.
I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes.
Then he shares nudes without consent. He criticizes Keffals for being a bully while he's the biggest fucking bully on the internet. He cries about how people on the internet have doxed him, and then he turns around and doxes a woman who he is secretly in an active sexual—
Also, unearthed the article that doxed me and basically did it before Fox News got a hold of it too. You know, before I could even move into this house that I got for myself and my family. Just a fucking truly repulsive, horrible individual who constantly gets in his own fucking way and then routinely tries to talk his way out of it by telling his audience that it's actually everybody else that's coming after him and that it's never his fault. You know? It's never his fault. Yeah.
Relationship with. He says it's not good to sext women who are on large streams.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And then he turns around and sexts every single fucking woman on his large stream. He says it's super weird to sext 19-year-olds because they're basically children.
You're a little kid.
And then he fucking said,
by the way, this like very obvious inconsistency or hypocrisy, or I guess backtracking, whatever you want to fucking call it, exists for virtually every issue that he's talked about. And his fan base does not ever think about this as some weird inconsistency.
Sexts a 19-year-old. He says we need to hold Keffels responsible for her actions, and then he takes absolutely no fucking responsibility for his actions. My worst crime was being too much of a gooner. If you go back and rewatch this entire video, do you agree with Destiny that his worst crime is just being too much of a gooner? Destiny, you are not too much of a gooner, you are a sex criminal. To this day, Destiny is still refusing to fully take accountability for his actions, as he has done through every single fucking step of his career. According to Destiny, he really hates weasels. He even has a weasel emote that people spam in his chat whenever someone is trying to weasel their way out of an argument or is refusing to take accountability for their actions. Well, Destiny, I think you should get this emote tattooed on your fucking forehead. You are a weak, pathetic little weasel, and I hope that everyone has finally opened their eyes to how much of a wriggling little weasel you always have been. I hope that after this, you take a long look in the mirror and you realize that you actually have a lot more in common with Keffels than you would ever care to admit to yourself. You have both lied to and scammed your audience. You are both massive bullies. You both aren't afraid to use harmful tactics to get what you want. And most of all, you both have a pathological need to avoid ever taking accountability. So from now on, I shall be referring to you as Keffelsdeny. How's that for a nuke, buddy? Anything else? Really quick before the video ends, I've linked the fundraiser for Pixie to sue Destiny down below. If you would consider donating to that, I would appreciate it so much.
Once again, it quite literally doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. You could do an 8-hour nuke similar to this about all of the different ways in which Destiny has and his community has actively harassed someone like myself or many other people. As a matter of fact, you could do virtually 8-hour pieces on the extreme harassment that is borderline criminal on virtually every smaller streamer that he's engaged with. Okay. It is crazy. His community straight up harassed journalists who have interviewed you. I know. They go after everybody. It's fucking insane. They have unlimited smoke. Okay, bro went from getting nuked by Ethan to talking about Tiny. I know, brother. You do realize that was a little bit of a dud. Too much on hypocrisy and not enough on how manipulative he is. The hypocrisy is just a consequence of him adjusting his discourse to massage a narrative. Oh, for sure. I do think that a lot of people only care about hypocrisy, though. Yeah, they've literally stalked Twitch staff. They've been actively stalking and doxing Twitch staff, dude. Like, it is so insane. Yeah, nuked by Ethan means he used a microwave. Anyway.
If this lawsuit is successful, maybe this is finally an opportunity for Destiny to be held accountable for his actions. I've also linked accounts for Pixie, Cherry, Lav, and Melina down below and recommend you give them a follow. I think in situations like these, victims can end up being kind of just used as ammo for different people to fling shit.
How has he not been banned by Twitch? He has been for years. That's the reason why he's been attacking Twitch. Part of the reason why he's attacking Twitch is because of his own personal vendetta against Twitch, because he's still perma-banned for doing shit like this. And also on top of that, there's a million different reasons even that aren't criminal, that are valid reasons to, you know, keep someone like him banned. I just told you guys that this motherfucker has been literally doxing and harassing Twitch staff, dude. The fuck? Why you only watch content, Nuke, about people you don't like? I don't know. Think it through. Think. First of all, this isn't even content nuke. It's titled as content nuke because that's what fucking people say online. This is just a expose on the criminal behavior of a person who has basically created havoc in the space that I've been in the streaming space that I've been in. And I've also personally fucking targeted me for years and years. Anyway, 11 hours already? We're not getting an IRL today, are we? No. No, there won't be. Why is no one taking him to court? No, someone has contacted the authorities. The video itself talked about it too. Did you see Ethan hemorrhaging subs? Yes, I did. He lost, I think he lost 30,000 subs in the process. It makes sense. I mean, his channel was nascent. He wasn't using it. Last time he used it was for Keemstar, which is interesting because now he's using it, and now he's aligned with Keemstar. How is no one talking about this? This is so unknown. Part of the reason why is because a lot of content creators, I think, see it as like open territory, especially if they want to beef up their apolitical bona fides to come after someone like myself and be like, yeah, fuck Hasan, right? A lot of large content creators don't necessarily shy away from engaging in the fuck Hasan train. XQC is a fantastic example of this. Like, he has for years and years been super close to Sexpestiny and has actively platformed him, actively come after me. Sexpestiny and his community, Diddy G, have used XQC as a vehicle to launch these attacks as well. Right? Having said that, people don't necessarily want to talk about Destiny in general, partially because a lot of content creators are genuinely worried about the harassment cult that he has created and shy away from any sort of criticism. Same goes for many other large content creators, okay? A lot of other large content creators with very active communities that are, that are not above using their communities to attack other content creators, naysayers, and whatnot. Okay? XQC has nothing against you. He's open to talk to you any day. Yeah, dude, I know. I know. Like, Asmongold will probably watch the Ethan nuke, upload it, react, will get millions of fucking views. XQC will do the same if he hasn't already done so. These guys don't have a problem coming after someone who is on the left. They do have a problem, however, coming after someone. He already did? Yeah. They do, however, have a problem coming after people on you know, coming after people like Destiny in general, because his community doesn't shy away from, you know, aggressively pursuing people that Destiny considers to be bad. This entire video basically spells it out. He may react and disagree with E. I mean, we'll see. I think the parts that they will disagree with will most likely be the idea that like Twitch is incredibly anti-Semitic or some shit. Anyway. They will also flood channels to poison the well about you if they think they'll gain traction. Yeah. But yeah. That's it. Good video overall. Shouts out to Ryan Beard for putting themselves out there like this.